And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm with Tyler right now, as always.
Wow.
Threw you for a loop
128 episodes in. I don't think you've ever said that before.
No, it was a mix-up.
Okay. Hi, I'm here.
Like that terminology?
As always. Actually, not as always. We're not doing this anymore in this place.
That's true. This is our last episode in Tyler's apartment.
Yeah. Moving to the house.
Is finally done.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The room looks fantastic, actually.
It looks kind of trashed right now because I was ripping open boxes and got everything done. But it will look good. It will look great when you see it in a week.
Paneling looks great. I like the look of the chairs, although I'm in for a rough surprise, apparently. Aren't they lazy boys? I thought you said they were like really good chairs.
No, like they're not lazy boys. I got them from Wayfair.
Okay.
And they were like a couple $100 a piece. So like they were, and here's my thing is I'm getting a rude awakening on the price of good furniture.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
So I'd get something. I'm like, oh, these chairs are so expensive. Like, they're probably great. Like they're really not. Like they're really not that expensive.
Yeah.
But they are made with like actual wood.
Yep.
Built them all. They actually didn't come built correctly, so I had to like disassemble and then reassemble stuff. So I kind of felt good there, I guess. I don't think they're very comfortable, but I think they're going to keep us alert. So we're like lounge, but also they're not so comfortable you just pass out.
Right. That's what I was worried about. So it's actually a silver lining, I think, because I was like, if we just fall into my chair and like fall asleep, probably bad for a podcast.
Well, I mean, like even like how you're sitting right now, your arms are crossed, you're on the table and everything. Yeah. Like this is the opposite of that. Like you got to be like laid back.
I kind of like being up
crossed.
though, because like when I'm forward, I feel like I'm engaged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think if I'm back, I won't like it as much, but we can experiment.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like I got it for aesthetics first, which I think hindsight, not a great thing. So we will, and it only sits two people. So when we have like Lucky on, or we have like, you know, John and Mike and Jeff podcasting, it's not gonna work with just two chairs.
Right.
But anyway, a big, like a whole, metric on how good these chairs are is my parents sat in them, they loved them. So I'm like, okay, so this is like
yeah. If it gets the dad approval, that's a good chair, right?
He likes a firm chair.
Dads know chairs.
Yeah.
Like, I know League.
Yes.
Sure. So terrible. I don't. Sure. There was something clever.
We're off to a really good start. Yeah.
No, we're off to a fantastic start. I'm excited about this new house. I mean, you've been waiting for this forever.
We slept there last night.
Yeah. How'd it feel?
Really weird.
Yeah.
It was such a. I don't want to go super into this, but like, we got a letter. I think Wednesday, Tuesday, or something. And it was like, hey. We got it at the apartment. And it said, hey, we're going to show off the apartment to a prospective renter.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to show them 9 a.m. Friday.
Right.
And like our place wasn't like trashed, but it was like, look, we've been moving the whole time. We haven't like really cleaned anything. We haven't done so. Like I spent just 2 days straight, just like those bathrooms. You've never seen them cleaner. Like, you could like eat off the toilet, right?
Gross.
Very gross, but like you could.
Yeah.
Like
be gross, but you could.
So like those things are spotless. I'm trying to like make sure everything looks the way I described it, and I don't know if this is even politically correct to say, but like I wanted somebody to come in and be like, oh, they're moving, not like, oh, they're living like white trash. Right? Like you're in like a luxury apartment, but like your TV's on like a box or on the floor and you have like this like crappy like, you know, pull out couch or whatever.
That's hilarious. I think I can tell you. Is that why the boxes are front and center?
Yeah, we put very strategically placed of like, look,
that's
packing.
Such a Tyler
I know,
thought.
I know, but that's what I do.
I know. I love it though. Always design. It's always about the UI.
But I lost 2 days doing that on the apartment where like I should have been like working through the house and cleaning and doing stuff. So the problem is we really need to clean the bathrooms in the house. Just because all like they're not like filthy. They're just like sawdust and just crap everywhere.
Right.
Just by nature of construction. So I want to do like a really deep clean and I lost time doing it. And after cleaning this whole place, the last thing I want to do is go to another house and start over cleaning everything.
Right. 100%.
But I got a sweet mop. That's my adult 35-year-old.
There you go.
Self.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for you, dude. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be
your adult
in a week. Yeah, it'll be good.
I'm excited. The podcast, another level, dude. Another strata.
I hope so.
Of couch company podcast.
It might turn into, we get rid of the chairs. We get just almost the chairs like we're sitting in, like little better ones, but like overall, get a round table, sits 4, have all the boom arms coming out of the middle, and get a table that's like actually for podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea. Set up that way.
Yeah, I mean, we can experiment. We have time.
Yeah,
we have the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Well, we got the next 30 years.
Yeah, well, that might be. Yeah. Anyways, I did want to ask you, we were kind of talking about topics for today.
Yeah.
And you intrigued me when you sent me wildlife is the number one topic. So
number one is
first on the list.
It was first on the top of my
mind. The top of the order, lead off.
Yeah.
Baseball reference.
So last night, because we slept at the house, we had to get all the cats moved over. Because that was the other thing, is like we can't have the cats here while they're showing people. So instead of like, you either have to cage them or you have to take them out. And we're like, okay, we're just leaving.
Right.
So we had to get them all. And Merlin is a wily one. He was, I felt so bad for that guy because he was like tearing around. He would not sit still and all that stuff. And I was like running around here. He like, it looks like I've been using, honestly, like on my wrists and stuff, just because like he just scratched the living crap out of me.
That's not good.
Finally cornered him in the back room. And he was so exhausted from like, I want to say a good like hour and a half of just like zipping around the apartment. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was
that
wild,
long?
Dude. It was so long.
Wow.
To the point of Chelsea and I, like we had to give up, take the other 2 cats to the house. So poor Chelsea drove all the way there, dropped them off in the room because we kept them in like a room, drove all the way back. And by that point I had him cornered in the back room, closed the door. And I think he was just like, I'm boned. And they just kind of like curled up and was like, all right, whatever, do whatever you want to me. Like I felt really, really bad.
Oh no.
But anyway, all that stuff, we got them. It was like around midnight that we were finally going back to the house. Car's packed with a whole bunch of stuff. So I got to do all this stuff, but I'm driving delirious because I've been going for, 12, 13 hours of just like working and moving stuff around, things like that. I'm driving and I'm going down this back road before I get to like the roundabout, which we have a roundabout near our place.
Right.
Which I don't even know if you'll go this way, but whatever. It's back
go
roads
through the roundabout.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm going, and then there's like just a deer in the middle of the road, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So like I'm like slowing down, I'm like, oh, we'll move, and it just stands there and like looks at me, and I'm just like, all right, well I don't want to honk because in my mind I'm like, well it's after midnight, I don't want to like honk and like wake neighbors up or whatever.
Right.
So just standing there looking at me. I'm like, okay, fine, like whatever. And then like I start like slowly like creeping closer to it, thinking like I'll scare it.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm playing chicken with this deer. And then this little baby like runs down or calf or foal or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
They run down the hill and like behind the deer, and it's like peeking out, and they're just staring at me, right? Eventually they like saunter off in the slowest thing.
Yeah.
So I keep going down this road, and I literally could not make this up. Raccoon, middle of the road, just staring at me. And again, I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep going, and like it'll move.
It's not moving.
Does not move.
Wow.
And I'm just like, and then there's like raccoons. I want to say I think there were 3 total. Just like sitting on the side of the road, like you get their like reflective eyes. They're just like staring at me. Like I'm in like, and that's why I said like it's like a Disney World like amusement park thing where it's just a bunch of animals like going around Snow White or whatever. Eventually it moved. I'm just like, man, what is going on? So I get out of like the backwoods area, go around the roundabout. I'm like, finally, civilization. Yeah. And I start going down there, and a deer like literally leaps in front of my car. Oh my gosh. Literally almost hit it. I was driving Chelsea's car as a whole thing. So I was just like, thank goodness that everything's fine. But that was like in our plan. Like I'm talking like it was not a cul-de-sac, but like a normal HOA neighborhood.
Yeah.
Deer just leaps in front. I'm like,
wow.
That's all in the span of maybe like 5 minutes.
Dude,
like
they're trying to get like insurance or something, bro. These animals are insurance scam.
It was just like, Chelsea's never going to believe me. Like literally what I just experienced, I'm like, I felt like I had this like connection with animals or something. I'm just like, man, they know something.
I thought you were ready to like start feeding them or something. Walked up to the window, you rolled it down.
Well, it's like I think it was, it's like God came down and was like, all right, you were cursing out because I was just F-bombing Merlin like crazy. Like not to him. Like I was just like, I'm just so tired. And like Chelsea was very, very patient with me and stuff. But like when you're trying to chase them around and like you don't want to hurt them, but also you have to like grab them.
You gotta grab them.
Otherwise you're going to be doing this for another hour and a half. And I think that was like God's way of like slowing me down. I'm just like, all right, now you're gonna wait here. You're gonna stare these living creatures in the eye.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. Give them some respect, and then they move. And then I'm like, okay, fine, keep going. No, you wait a minute. Now you're gonna look at raccoons in the eye. So I don't know. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Do you feel more one with nature now, or did it work?
No.
That lesson worked?
I don't. I love animals. In that I feel very bad. Like if I see like a cat outside, especially when like in the winter time, like we saw a cat like limping in the winter, like across the road, and I was like,
it's terrible.
Yeah, I'm like I wanted to like rescue it.
Did you?
No, because then it gets like, well, what if it's because it was going into like near a house. I'm like, that's probably their cat.
See.
But like that stuff, like that breaks my heart.
I can't. Like, why do people have outdoor cats?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I do not know.
Like really risking.
Yeah,
safety of the cat. It feels like, right?
Yep.
I don't know. That
like if you get a cat, that's your responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's like no outdoor dogs.
Man.
Although some people have their dogs sleep outside. I could never, dude. That's like so mean.
You could. I think there are certain places in the country where that's probably gorgeous. Like it's probably awesome to sleep outside like that.
Fair. Not in Pittsburgh.
No.
Not in Pittsburgh. That would be. It's been like 28 degrees, and I don't think dogs like that very much.
Yeah.
Although some dogs do, like the big fluffy ones.
That's fair.
Yeah,
like the little polar dogs.
Polar dogs, dude. Polar dogs, bro.
I don't know.
Well, all right.
Yeah,
you like animals, but like not really.
No, I do. I don't want to own animals, but we do. That so it's sense. Just like, and then
it's a responsibility.
Well, yeah,
it's a big responsibility.
It's one of those things. Like I felt really bad that they've been shut in the room since like midnight last night, and they're just in that room still. So it's like you got to let them out, but also I got to like clean everything, so I don't want them like huffing in dust and just construction debris and stuff.
Right.
And like they did a good job cleaning up, but like that it's going to be dusty for a while. Like you're going to have to do multiple passes and stuff. That's just how it is. I get that. But they're so low to the ground and everything. I want to just keep it as clean as possible. Morgana was like laying around in like the cat, like it's a fresh litter box, but she like jumped in and was like playing in it like it was like a sandbox.
That's strange.
It's super weird. I was like, what
I don't think cats
doing?
usually do that.
Yeah,
no?
like I don't.
Huh.
Yeah, but they were like super kittens and didn't know what it was.
Do they like the new place? I mean, are they acclimating?
Dude, they were in, I want to say, maybe a 1.5 foot by 1.5 foot like cube. Like if you compressed 3 cats into that space, they were just shoved into a corner, and they were just terrified. Now they started like
by choice.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they were just scared.
We let them out, and they were just like terrified. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like we brought their cat towers over, all the like the different pieces of furniture and stuff, so they should smell that on them. But I think there's just too much going on.
Yeah.
And that whole place, like opening that up to them, they're gonna be just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's gonna be challenging, but I mean they got a lot of space, right? I mean they have a lot of space here too, but
it's roughly
floors.
the same. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the floors. Like you have a lot of area to kind of just roam in.
100%. So I think they'll eventually like it, but I don't know. Cats are weird, man. The cats.
We're gonna open up the house to them. I think this afternoon. Well, tonight, I guess.
Oh, really? Are you gonna go sleep over there again? Like that's
we're just there.
Plan? You're there.
Yeah, we're there. Nice. Yeah. So anything. So good. Now, like basically every day, we're gonna come back. So like tomorrow, we come back. Yeah. We pick a room. Yeah. We clear that entire room out. Bring it back to the house. So within, I'll say a week, 2 weeks max. Yeah. This place will be completely empty, and then we'll be set. But I don't know.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Topic 2 that you sent me.
Okay.
Also a question mark. Complete enigma. Pay it forward. Which I don't.
Yeah. This
know what that means.
This is also a little thing.
Anecdote.
So I went to Target. So I've been frequenting Target and Home Depot like crazy, as you do when you go
You
to a
should
new
get
place.
they have like those credit cards, man.
They do.
Open a credit card, like especially if you're about to just buy a ton of like home stuff.
Yeah,
Probably save a bunch of money.
I think you can hook up your like debit card to that, so you still don't have to do. I don't like doing credit card stuff.
Me neither.
But
They usually have decent deals.
Yeah. Well, we got like $80 off a lamp or something, and that was like
For
the
what?
lady for nothing. Just like, oh, pull up the app, and the lady was like, oh, you have this, you could probably save this, and she was some wizard and took like $80 off our order.
80. That's big. That's a big saving.
It was big. We spent like because we had to get like new towels, just normal house stuff that you don't think about until it's like crap. We have to get like plungers and toilet bowl cleaners.
Right.
But now we have 3 bathrooms, so now it's like multiply that by 3. So I don't know.
Houses are expensive, I've heard.
They are.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to get when you go into your new place, right? Like when you're just like, okay, like be it a rent an apartment or buy a house, whatever.
Yeah.
Like like stuff that you don't ever think about because you just take it for granted. You're just like, oh, I've always had toothpaste. And now it's like
shows up.
Oh crap! Yeah,
They're gonna go buy toothpaste.
When you get yourself a wife or a husband, whatever, I don't judge you, but you
thanks, Ty.
Yeah, whatever.
Appreciate that. You spend one time in a pool with a guy. It's like,
look, man, I'm just keeping it
100
open for you. Yeah.
Keeping it 100 is that what the kids say?
I don't know what that means.
Keeping it.
Although
100.
I do. Okay, now I'm jumping topics, but I do want to buy the Gen Z Bible.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
I have to look that up. That sounds really funny.
What was I going to say? So, but whenever you get that, like if you have a significant other, make sure they're the ones that are refilling the toothpastes and the soaps and things like that. So when Chelsea and I do it, it's like a game of chicken too. So I'm just playing chicken with everyone, deer, wife.
Are you getting good at chicken?
I'm undefeated.
Really?
Because essentially what happens is like if that soap dispenser is empty, right? Like on the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
I will hit that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
To get every little last bit out.
Do you do the water? You put water in it?
It never has to get to that point because Chelsea will just get fed up and she'll just put a new one out.
Yeah. She's just like, it's not worth this childish.
Yeah. Same with toothpaste. Toothpaste, it'll be like, I'll roll the tube. It's just like minuscule. And I mean, maybe it's gaming, but I'm objectively strong. I think my hands are objectively stronger, so I can get a little bit more out than
I mean,
her.
especially with Tekken.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later on. Yeah. I have calluses on my thumbs.
That's good. I'm
grinding out here. We're going to get into it.
We'll get into it.
But
I'm sorry. Pay it forward. Real quick. I was at Target. This purple car that looked a lot like your Charger, actually. You have a Charger, right?
Challenger.
Close. Sorry.
Same thing.
Looked very much like yours, but like this like purple.
Yeah, they have a purple color. It's kind of cool.
I liked it.
I wouldn't get it, but it's cool. I respect it.
I saw a purple one, and I saw this like it's like a cross between like a military green, like not quite military green, but not quite like forest green. Like it was a weird like in between.
Sure.
Anyway, the purple guy let me go. So I was like, oh, thanks. And I turn, I stop.
Yep.
I'm at the stop sign.
Good.
And I do the classic, I stop when another car stops. So I pay it forward and I let them go.
Right.
And then they're going. And then they stop. And then they let some person like cross 3 lanes of traffic or whatever. And I'm just like, it was really weird. Like, you're just like, oh, I let this person go when I normally wouldn't because this guy let me go. And it was top of mind.
Yeah.
It was like a very self-contained, pay it forward moment.
It's interesting when you like, this is structural society.
Yeah.
Like where it's just weird things like that. Like you hold a door for someone, you see the chain go on.
Yeah, everyone
You
has
think
to
it's
do
like
it,
because they
peer
feel
pressure.
obligated?
Peer pressure. Yeah.
Like, well, it's different though. Like peer pressure is like, oh, he did it, I have to do it. Or it's like, oh, I'm indebted because this guy did me a favor. So now I'm going to relieve my burden of the debt by paying it forward to the other guy. Or are we just good people and it's like, that was nice. That should be nice.
I will say that
first 2 were pretty pessimistic.
Yeah, I will say in my situation, it just seemed everyone was just nice. Yeah.
I think kindness can definitely be contagious. Now it's like always so hard to discern like the genuine nature of it, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because
I
like, there's
think
always
door holding is peer pressure. I think that's just like, well, I can't be a.
It's
jerk
not even
to-
like it's like polite, but it really doesn't save you a lot of time. Like opening a door is not that hard.
right.
So that societal convention, I don't really understand. Letting someone go in traffic, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Well,
your turns. We learned that in preschool.
Yeah.
Taking turns.
I find that almost causes more accidents.
Really?
When people like, there are certain times when if they like hold up traffic or they stop to let me go.
Yeah.
Even if I'm being let go, it's like, hey, what you're doing is incredibly dangerous because now everyone, like, no one knows what to do because somebody didn't, like, they went out of turn.
See.
I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
So, like, while I might even benefit and they'll be like, oh, you can go. I'm like, yeah, I can, but also I shouldn't be because you're ruining the patterns of traffic.
Yeah, there should be, I don't know. Eventually, we'll all just be on a grid and take our shuttles
that's gonna be your
everywhere.
nightmare, man.
Well, yeah, I mean,
death
at
of
least let me customize my pod.
So what would happen if there's a lane? It's like, oh, you have a gas vehicle, you can take this lane.
It's like the new bike lane, except like totally.
Yeah, but it's like
opposite purpose.
always crowded. No, it's like the like if there's 4 lanes of traffic, 3 of them are for like the automated AI driven like buses that will like you can get down to the second on like, okay, it's always going to be here to here. It will always take this amount of time with no delays, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. There has to be a plus or minus, though, because like if you're getting off, people get off at different speeds. Unless it just ejects you. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Little
That would be
ejector
neat.
seat.
Yeah. Just it's like a little pod. Like the way I envision it is you sit down and it's called a bus stop still. But it's you sit in a seat, you put your seatbelt on, and it's like you're sitting on a park bench, basically.
Oh.
And then the shell of a bus comes down, magnets pick you up, put you in the bus, and then you zip off. And then it like just drops you down, and it's like, okay, you can get off at your own speed, whatever, but the bus keeps going.
That's crazy. Wow. That's going to be a dude.
In the
I would
future.
hate that. I would hate that.
In the future, yeah.
I mean, it is nice. Like down to the second, you know you're going to be on time if I get there.
Yeah.
But as is the problem with all buses, if you're late for the bus,
Yeah, you're screwed.
you're screwed.
But I think you would start to work around
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Like, it would just
you
become
probably
natural.
wake up and then you have like an escalator that brings you downstairs.
Think about how much time you would like save.
We might end up like the people like Wall-E, where they're all stuck in their seats and stuff because
Yeah.
everything's automated.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. That seems really bad, but
You know how we think about like George Washington and
Sure.
like just like you go to like his fort and it's just like, oh
Yeah.
man, look at how people lived back then.
yeah.
It's like people will think about that for us.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think, even like thinking about like how my dad was a kid and,
Right.
and what he was doing back then, or even how like I grew up and it wasn't like we didn't have the internet and it was kind of this weird thing. Like to think so far in the future that like what we're living right now, where it's like AI and all this other like crazy
Yeah.
technology happening, that's going to be like so antiquated. And this isn't like an AI talk. I'm just talking like all these modern conveniences, like, oh, we have the cell phone. This cell phone is going to be like the most antiquated BS ever. It's like, wait, what do you mean? You don't have it just on your wrist? You could put on a table that then like shoots into like you know a visual hologram thing or whatever. That kind of terrifies me a little bit.
No, it's impossible to comprehend what it's going to look like. But you know what? I don't get. Like I think about this all the time. Like my dad and mom didn't have GPS.
Yeah.
They used maps, dude. That's crazy. I couldn't even fathom having to use a map to go somewhere.
I had to
Get
use
lost.
maps.
Like people had to be getting lost all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going on a business trip and like I don't know. They had MapQuest. Well, that's the internet, but like even before the internet, it's like literally just map. Like, do you think people were just much more located in their local area, or only went to like maybe
everything
bigger
was there.
places?
Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean,
I
if
mean?
you're talking like a big, like a map, like that always bugs me as people like open up a map. They're like, we're here and we need to go here. And it's just like, how do you?
Yeah.
Unless there's like one main road. It's like, okay, we'll just stay on this road for 500 miles and you're good. I don't know. Yeah,
Do you
I
think
guess
they had maps for like specific locations? Like, oh, you're trying to go to Florida.
you
Here's
just have
a
like a
map.
city map or whatever? Or like
I
a
don't know.
state
Like
map?
if I'm in Pennsylvania, is there a Pennsylvania to Florida map? And it kind of walks you through.
There is a
steps.
Pennsylvania map.
I know my parents had it. It was like this big book.
Yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
you would be in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, hey, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, well, go down. And you
That's
hit
a great
Pennsylvania.
start.
And then every state you hit, you get
Open up
that
new map.
state map.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure there was some sort of like collection thing.
I
You
just
get,
would have
like, the
been
magnet.
my anxiety would have been through the roof if I had to like figure out where to go. Like imagine a scenario where it's like late and dark and you don't know where you are. You're running out of gas.
Yeah.
My phone tells me the nearest gas station is, man.
Yep.
And I can order a little bite to eat on the way there.
So I will say, I've been looking at signs a lot more for that kind of stuff because like the way stations or whatever would be like, oh hey, the next station's in 60 miles, so it's
Right.
like you do a quick
Gotta
calculation,
stop
check
now.
out your thing, be like, okay, I have 80 miles left in the next 60 miles. Can I make it? Probably. Do I want to risk it? Nah.
Never.
Yeah.
I love the Turnpike though. The Turnpike's so great. It's just like straight.
I hope
Straight
Chelsea
shot.
fixed her turnpike thing. I don't know why I looked over there.
Easy
Wait,
Pass?
There's nothing there. Yeah, she got a letter in the mail for Easy Pass
Yeah.
saying like, hey, your card expired or something.
Right.
Better fix it.
Ooh.
And like we just went to Chicago, so it's like we
that's
need
right.
to
Chicago.
pay that. Yeah.
I had that too. Like when I was going to visit my friend in Philly, my Easy Pack like didn't work. It was actually really weird because it was like the Easy Pass didn't register, so we just gave you a $10 fee or something, which was way cheaper than the actual cost of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was super bizarre.
So I wonder if that's
I was like, because I was asking my dad, it's like, is this on top of the expense? And he's like, no, they just charged it for, because I used his Easy Pass.
Yeah.
I just charged it for like, and I was like thinking to myself, like, can people take advantage of this? Like, make it malfunction and then just.
I
get
wonder
this,
if it was like a
$10 tag?
wider spread thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right. Like if it's their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because typically, if they can't like see what you did, they'll like take your license plate.
That's what I thought was going to
fine
happen.
you.
Yeah.
But if you prove that it's like, no, I do have an Easy Pass. Here you go.
it's a fine.
No.
Oh.
Like they
charge
they'll
you.
just say like, well, they charge. Well, it's a fine until you prove you have an Easy Pass.
So if
And
you go on
then
Easy
they-
Pass and you don't have an Easy Pass, it's illegal.
I don't want to say illegal, but you'll
Fine
get charged.
is a penalty for
Yeah, you'll get charged to
breaking
your.
the law, right?
It's like I guess a fine
It's
is
an infraction,
technically the right word. It's like a higher priced thing.
right?
So it's like, oh,
Well,
it's,
yeah,
it's
you're
normally
paying
like
more.
$6 to ride on
Yeah.
this stretch of road. We're charging you 15 or
Yeah,
something.
it's a upcharge. Yeah, but I love the Turnpike. Just straight, just
Yeah.
easy
Yep.
pass. I don't know. Paying it forward. That's good. I'm glad you're a nice guy. I'm glad you're a nice guy, Ty. I think you're great. I think you let everyone
No, thanks.
go in front of you in traffic and open so many doors.
I'm a very
and-
defensive driver.
Yeah, that makes sense. My fear is like when you arrive to the stop sign at the same time,
Mhm.
and then it's like, ooh, and you're looking at each other, and there's that awkward pause, and then you both go at the same time.
I'll let them go normally.
Yeah,
Um,
I should just wave them every time they. But like, here's my fear too, where it's like we both get there at the same time, and then we both wave each other at the same time, and then we both go at the same time. We both stop. These are my nightmares.
That's your soulmate. Like you're supposed to automatically jump out of the car.
Jump out of the car,
and,
propose.
And yeah.
wow. I would probably propose to like an old lady.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that happened.
Look, man, age
week.
is just a number.
That's true. But you know, that'd be interesting.
I will say
I don't
one
know
of-
if my
one of-
parents would approve of that.
Oh yeah, that'd
This
always be
is
interesting.
Dolores. She's 72.
This is Nancy. One of my pet peeves though is, when, so like if an attractive woman
Yeah.
drives up and stops,
Sure.
even if she's like technically after you,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
she just assumes you're gonna let her go.
Oh, I want to see. That's a great point. I want to see. The world should have statistics on everything.
Yeah.
I want to see the percentage of females, like attractive females, that get to go first.
Yeah.
It's got to be 90 percentile.
It's got to be very high.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got to be nuts.
This might sound sexist. It's just like if I'm driving up in a car, it just goes. Even if it's like my turn to go.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I see what happened. I'm a dude. And she just assumed I was
right. I think there's something to that. But I think you can expand that experiment to a lot of things, like types of cars. Like people in my car probably go more often because they, I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I would like to see that. I think you split it into a bunch of different categories.
Yeah.
I want to see the percentage on who goes first. Yeah. I want to see the percentage of types of people that hold doors open.
Are Jeeps, I know this is a weird off-the-wall conversation, are Jeeps considered like, if they rev their engines go fast, is that cool?
What, like revving your engine?
Yeah, well, like think of a Jeep, like a normal Jeep.
I don't know why, unless you have like a Trailhawk or something.
I don't know. Like
top model.
Again, I spent a lot of time at Target, but this Jeep stopped at a stop sign late last night and just like revved his engine and like flew down. Yeah. And it's like,
maybe he's got like,
dude, if you had any other car, it would be cool, but you're in a box.
So you didn't have like a custom exhaust or like
if you picture
an engine swap.
Whoever is listening right now, picture a Jeep, and I guarantee you that's that's what it looks like.
Green?
It was dark. I don't know.
It was probably green. I just picture it as like dark green.
Sure.
Climbing a mountain.
Jeep, like, yeah.
I don't like Jeeps. Like they're not attractive at all to me.
I like
they're like
square
military
cars a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think they're so gross.
I was a big
I like angular. They're not angular. How would you call that?
Angular?
It's not angular, like the opposite actually.
Yeah,
like
you
smooth,
like the rounded.
Sleek, that's like the sports car style.
Yeah.
Aerodynamic.
Mm-hmm. Like the little
Kind of
Porche.
has a swoosh.
Yeah.
Oh, Porsches are just so awesome.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I was watching the Barbie movie like a couple months ago?
Did you
maybe.
like it? I didn't, it's fine.
I didn't think it was bad. I actually enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
Now, like I was watching it with my buddy Devin and his fiance, and she loves that movie. She was like freaking out the whole time. I didn't like it that much. It's definitely. I mean, the audience is clear. It's not made for me. But here's what's funny about it. I was watching it, and the whole thing where spoilers for the Barbie movie isn't great. Anyone cares about that? Where like the Kens took over. And the Barbies are coming back, and they're like distracting the Kens to steal back the girls, I think, or something. The plot is I'm trying to remember.
It kind of.
The Kens are kind of dominating, and they all have their own Barbie, and they're trying to distract the Ken to get the girl back. Yeah, that's what it is. And the conversations they were having to distract them was like every conversation I love having. I was just sitting there, bro. I was like, dude, am I Ken? I'm literally Ken, dude.
It's fine.
Like they were talking about Porsches. Yeah. They were like, can you tell me why The Godfather is like so good or something? I was like, fuck, I want someone to ask me that. I love The Godfather. It's so funny, man.
Yeah. But see, the irony there is I know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like they're basically like really being like kind of like overly stereotypical and stuff like that.
Right.
But like Ken wouldn't know that, right?
He wouldn't know that it's a stereotype?
No, he wouldn't know about The Godfather. He wouldn't know about like Porsches and like cars and like.
Well, they would know about cars because there are Barbie cars.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
It's not Mechanic Ken.
There might be. I'm sure there's a Mechanic Ken.
Yeah, 100%. I instantly take that back.
Yeah, that was a bad one. But it would be interesting if there's like a Porsche Barbie crossover. That would be kind of cool.
I'm sure there is.
What car does she have? Is it a buggy or something? I forget what car she has. I thought it was like an actual.
She's like a convertible.
Maybe she does have a Porsche. That would be kind of. Joke's on you.
But
Godfather, I'll give you Godfather.
It just seems weird.
But the conventions of that universe don't make any sense to me.
I didn't.
Where are they at?
Dude, Will Ferrell, just add that to the list of movies that he should not be in.
He fell off I don't know if I can name another actor that fell off as hard. And I don't know if it's him who changed or if it wasn't me. Because his early 2000s work is fantastic.
I think it's not a difference where it's like he isn't the star. So I think it's like oh,
he
hey,
has to be the star.
I want a Porsche.
But he did.
So I'm going to do this Barbie movie and just do it for like 10 minutes.
100%.
And then, okay, there's my Porsche.
He had the best gig ever. I'm just saying, like, his new stuff's all been terrible, even when he's the main character, though.
I don't even know a movie where he's been the main character.
The Sherlock movie.
Sherlock?
Yeah. Holmes and Watson. I forget what it was called, but he
okay.
played Sherlock Holmes, I think, and the guy he was always with back in the day, like Step Brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
Did Watson or whatever.
Why? I didn't even hear about this.
Unless I'm making this up, I'm pretty sure this is 100%. It flopped. It bombed. That's probably why you didn't hear about it. But everyone was like super excited for it. It's like, oh, it's a throwback. It's gonna be like Talladega Nights. The Dream Team's back, baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it him? Is it me? Like, did those movies just happen in the perfect era? It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to say.
Dude,
but he fell off so hard.
How do you go? And again, I have to look this up now. But how does Will Ferrell get up one day and is like, you know what? I could be Sherlock Holmes. I know I'm going to be instantly compared with the likes of Henry Cavill.
It was a comedy, though.
And Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, I can do that.
It was a comedy, though.
Yeah,
it was like
it
it was a joke on the thing.
Sure. I mean, that's what he does. I get it.
Like, are you going to really compare him to, like, Robert Downey Jr.?
If you're doing Sherlock Holmes, I don't think Sherlock Holmes is... I mean, granted, if it bombed, then maybe I'm justified there, but...
Look Sherlock up. Sherlock Gnomes.
Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
Sherlock Holmes. Look at this. 100 years ago? I couldn't do this.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you
every
who played the
information you could possibly
guy
want,
number 3 in the Charlie Chaplin movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to, like, remember. Yeah. And to your point, I think people had better memory banks.
I cannot. If you could put a chip in your brain, they would just download all that information. Would you do that?
No. Dude, did you see the Elon thing with the brain chip?
Yeah, the Starlink or whatever.
Starlink?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that we're going to Cyberpunk.
I've seen the spoofs on TikTok with it, and they're pretty good.
They're funny.
But this is wild.
Yeah. You should watch it now.
Honestly, the best Dr. Grace Hart, Rebecca Hall, that might be the best casting you could get. And Ralph, was it Phineas or whatever?
Yeah.
Voldemort is Moriarty. That's actually cool too. So it's funny because I like all these
everyone thought this was going to know. Everyone thought this was going to be great.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, let me
shame.
see the Rotten Tomatoes. 10% Rotten Tomatoes. 10%. 24% Metacritic. 3.9 on IMDb. It was bad. It was bad. Not Freddy Got Fingered bad, but approaching. It's terminal velocity.
What Freddy Got Fingered? What's that at?
Let me look.
7?
What if it got more?
Freddy Got Fingered was low. I don't know if it was single digits though.
I always say this. Freddy Got Fingered was made in a lab to be statistically
the worst,
scientifically.
Yeah.
Every atom, every molecule, every choice.
Yep.
Was designed to be the worst.
We were getting too close as friends, and then you just stuck that in the middle of our friendship.
That was the worst thing I might have ever done in my life. I kind of feel bad about that. I will say it also got 10% tied.
Okay. All
tied. Right. Did better on IMDb, but way worse on Metacritic. So
yeah.
I would say about even.
Jeez.
I sit in bed sometimes, and I'm sure you do this too when you think about like when you pranked me on the suit, and I just laugh.
There are times.
When you sent me the picture of him getting off the bus, the first scene of the movie, I was dying laughing for like 30 minutes because I knew you were in hell. You were about to enter the 9th level.
I was in the comfort of my own home with my wife.
Yeah.
And I was too ashamed to put it on the TV.
I haven't seen it in so long. It's probably worse than I even remember.
I'm sure.
But it was we watched it because it was like, we enjoyed like a good bad movie, right? Like The Room is hilarious. But this again was designed to get right up to the point where it would be funny. And just stop right there.
Yeah.
And it's just cringe and horrible and a crime against humanity. Whew. But I'm going to go back to another point. So this is totally, I know you love when I do this. But
I think we've been the timestamps are in my head right now.
Good. And your Starlink?
My Starlink.
Nice. I would never do that.
Oh my gosh, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Really? You would let them
To make
do they have to cut open your brain?
To do the podcast editing?
Or not brain, but like head?
I mean, look, dude, I forget so much stuff now. I think once you hit 30, I'll be interested. Like when you hit 30,
yeah,
I really want to know if you start like just forgetting things or can't. Like
I forget things now.
Yeah, but like
I was talking to this person last night, and she was telling me like what she did for work, and I'm like trying to be engaged. I'm like trying to
it's so
pay
hard.
attention, but then I just like 30 seconds later, I just like totally forgot.
We all don't have ADHD. Like that is not a thing. Like you can't be like, oh, you just have ADHD, you can't focus, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or is it ADHD?
It's ADHD.
Yeah.
I think our brain has a storage capacity limit. And like, especially for you, right? You have the house, you have this, that. You got so much on your mind right now.
Before all that, though. I think it's social media.
There's an element to that. Don't you think that like just being an adult and having a lot more responsibilities and stress and worrying about things like contributes?
100%. But when you're looking at like, I don't watch a thing on social media. Like if I'm like on a YouTube thing or whatever, and it's like more than like 30 seconds, like on the reels or whatever.
Right.
I just swipe through. Like I don't care, and we just keep going.
And
it's just this quick bite-sized stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you're on Teams, so it's like when you're at the office, if you're talking to somebody, it's like what we're doing right now. It's just one-on-one. You're talking to somebody.
Yep.
But on Teams, it's like you're having 12 different conversations all at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're in a meeting and having to pay attention.
It's exponential growth.
Yeah, so it's like you're spinning 15 plates all at once.
Right.
And then you just that's what you do.
No, I think there's a conditioning. I think there's a conditioning there, but I also think as you get older, again, you have more responsibility and I mean, you get older, you start kind of deteriorating, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
No, I get
also,
it. Past my prime.
No.
But biologically, yes.
Hey, we live in a magical...
I'm a decade past what a man's...
I might be over my prime.
You're 2 years past. I think 25 is the when
it depends what you're talking about. Physically, I think I'm right on it.
Okay.
I think 27, 28 is the strongest you get.
I think after 30 though, like when they were doing all of the...
But it's like it's a straight to the bottom. Like it's a roller coaster. yeah. Which is not exciting.
Nope.
But hey, I think we live in a great age of medicine.
Yeah.
And people are taking cold plunges and stuff. I have faith. We can capture some youth.
So the real question is, can you think of what you're going to say before we got on this tangent?
Yes, I do.
All right.
So we were talking about like not having phones and stuff, not being able to look up. It reminds me of this really cool scene in How I Met Your Mother, because How I Met Your Mother was this interesting period where like technology was kind of taking off. Mm-hmm. So like they're that age group that was like, because they were like in their 20s or something. It was like what, early 2000s or late 2000s. So they were like in their 20s before they had like cell phones and stuff and internet. Mm-hmm. So the scene is essentially they're talking about like what America's staple is, like for food, and like Barney's saying hamburgers, Ted's like no way, it's hot dogs, blah blah blah, and they're all arguing, having a great time at the bar, and then it cuts to like 10 years later or whatever, and they're all on their phone, and Barney's just like, oh, it's bread.
It's like, who knew?
Yeah, right. Yeah, who knew? And they're like, oh, okay. It's like you missed that though.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's an element of that where you like you didn't have the answer to everything, and there's something magical about arguing in circles about stuff that's probably not even right, but it's like there's a fun like we do that too.
Yeah,
because we're dumb, but like
no, it's just
it's
I
fun.
think we're trying to
fun.
capture it. It's fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's so interesting when I watch shows like that, and it like romanticizes different time periods.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that would be so fun just to like not have the internet and just be with your friends. And
it's
like you have to be present.
Yeah. Well, like whenever we don't have, like if we're at a cabin and we don't have service, or we don't, it's like, Wi-Fi does, and you just leave the phone, it feels really weird.
Yeah.
But
feel naked.
When we were in Maryland, it was like you're just outside for the entire day, just hanging out in a pool doing like that would be.
That was a top.
That's awesome.
That was a top 10 trip easily, maybe a top 5 trip.
Yeah,
that was
just
fantastic.
super chill, and like it's just
cool.
You don't have to worry about.
Yeah, there's nothing better than just when the vibes all lock up.
Yeah,
everyone's vibing on the same frequency, and no pressure. We're just having a good time. We're all friends.
You say vibing on the same frequency, but meanwhile, I think about Nate just Nate's on his own frequency, and it's wonderful every time. And Nate, I love you so much. But it's like if we're all on like this frequency, Nate's like on Mount Everest with his mama needs her drinky poo or whatever.
He came outside, like we're all chilling. It's like 1 PM or maybe like noon, and we're getting started. We're having a few beers.
Yeah,
sun's out. It was beautiful. Nate comes out with a mug, like a big boy mug that has Mama Needs Her Coffee on it, just filled to the brim with tequila. And he was having a blast, and we were all not prepared.
Yeah,
but you gotta love it.
You just can't meet him. Like it's like the amount of liquid we would have to consume to get to his level.
Oh my
without
God, he's
doing
a horse.
tequila. It's insane.
Drinks bottles of tequila, like he'll polish off a bottle and be fine the next day.
Yeah.
And people get really upset at that because that's a gift.
Tequila is fine. Beer is what kills me. That's another thing I can't wait to hear in your 30s. So like, it's one
Beer's
of those.
not bad. It's liquor for me.
It's the opposite. Like liquor, I'm good.
Wow.
I'm 100% fine.
Liquor destroys my stomach, especially since the cabin trip where I was as bad as I've ever been in my life. I think it really messed up my stomach like permanently because there's like sometimes like I don't know, I get like queasy and stuff.
Sure.
But
that's your body being like, hey man, like whoa.
Hey, yeah. Well, dude, it was the Red Bulls.
Well, yeah.
Well, the Red Bulls weren't fine. My heart, was
that's fair.
Losing its mind.
I don't like many liquors, like just the taste of it. Like
no,
I'll do
it's poison.
Like whatever we were doing in the pool. What was that? Fireball? No, it wasn't Fireball.
No, it was tequila.
Yeah. Normally,
tequila is like the only one I kind of tolerate. Maybe I don't know. I did a shot of vodka last night, and I was like, "Oh, this is hand sanitizer, man."
I think I typically would go vodka, just like in something. So like I mean, we would do Grey Goose all the time and just put it in like I don't
water. Know how people just do. I mean, like I guess you're just trying to get fucked up like as fast as possible, but you can't enjoy just a shot of vodka. Right? Like, do people just take a shot of vodka and they're like, that was tasty? I would never describe it as tasty. Like, I've had beers that are tasty. Like, last night, I had a really awesome IPA that I enjoyed. And I'm kind of on the fence on IPAs. I try to dabble, but this one was really good. But I could describe that as, like, that was a tasty beverage. Yeah. But, like, no one does that with...
I can't not think of Grey Goose. There's another vodka that my friend Emily got in from Wisconsin.
Vlad's?
No, I can't think of it now.
I don't know. That's like the cheapest one. That's what we did in college.
But it was a really good one, and that one I would say I could shoot and be like, it's not bad. Like I don't make a face after and be like, right. Like you just drink it and it's like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. No, I think I will say this though, like if you're drinking scotch with a suit on, like that's just like so cool.
I don't think I've ever had
cigar.
Scotch.
Yeah, we've had it at Nate's.
He's giving us scotch?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about Nate is like you were describing his like own free, but isn't that like the best thing about him that he's just like unabashedly himself?
Yes,
no matter what. Which is like I'm so envious of that.
Yeah,
because I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah,
so he's.
I mean, you mean both, buddy.
What's that?
You and me both. Like I don't want to cause waves or anything.
Yeah, right.
And that's like, that's not that he does. It's just like
no.
When he wants to get his coffee,
it's not even that. It's like whatever. Like he's like,
it's just like now's the time.
Like you and me, it's like if the group is like, we're gonna do this activity. We're gonna go see Barbie.
Yeah,
and maybe I don't really want to see Barbie that much, but I'll go for the group.
Yeah.
But like Nate's like, I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it, which is like a very admirable quality.
I think as you get older, that becomes more and more because it's like your time is.
I feel like he's always been like that though.
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah.
But
do you find yourself being that way as well?
Yeah, I think to some extent. I very rarely would just be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like it'll be maybe an excuse or I actually had like other plans or just different things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think people, it's not so much that I would say, oh, hey, I don't want to do that. I think people just like stop asking after a while. Like it's just like, this isn't something you'd like to do. I'm just not going to ask you.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you really don't want to do stuff. It's a bad thing if you're like typecast. So like for instance, like I, for whatever reason, just dropped off board games. Like there are certain times when I'm like, hey, I could really go for like a good night of Risk or Catan or like a certain board game.
Sure.
But they're rare. But then like just we never play board games anymore. And that's I'm sure that's like 90% my fault for me anyway, because it's like
well, you can't help what you like.
them.
You know what I mean? Like you just lost like, and I think you guys went really. I guess for context, like a lot of the friend group that Tyler's in was structured around. They would do these like board game nights, and it was like every week.
As a group, we would hang out just about every week. Yeah.
So this was like right before I came in. Like I came at the tail end of like the board game.
As soon as
era.
you got there, we were like, all right, well, this is done.
Yeah, which is story of my life, but. Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's a part of it that's you just play it so much, and then you just kind of get wiped out on it, right? I mean, like,
I
think everyone's done that.
It's the low stakes for me. It's like Nate's really good at playing the involved games. Gerard likes the involved games. Kyle likes the involved. Like for me, it's like I'm doing it to socialize more than like play a game.
Yeah, right.
Usually, like 90% of the time, right?
Sure.
It's more about just hanging out. Like, I'm not saying get like drunk, but it's like hang out, have a drink, do dinner, whatever. But then it's just like we're playing the, I don't know, a taco game or whatever it is. And just dicking around and having fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
But if I like that, but then if like that's not engaging to like a Nate, Gerard, or Kyle, then it's like, it starts to...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You have to find that balance. It's about that frequency, the vibe.
Well, it's a give and take, right? Like it's like, okay, hey, if we do that one night, then it's like the next night I'm learning this Star Wars game or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's any relationship you're in.
Yeah.
And I try to make a point of doing that. I think people really appreciate when you make an effort to at least try something they like or try to learn about something they like. Like I remember, like I would read all the Harry Potters because girls were really into Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and
Chelsea just talked about that maybe like a week ago.
What?
That you read them all?
Well, it's like
because John just listened to all the audiobooks. Harbin.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I was like, hey, they really love this. They talk about it. It's something I can share with them, right?
You're in,
like, yeah. And so I found that really successful. Like it was like, oh man.
And how awesome is that too, where you can pick one topic and like have an in and you're good.
Yeah.
You try to do that with guys, like good luck. Yeah, you could maybe talk about like Call of Duty or something like a specific game.
I could talk about League,
but
whatever.
Like you have guns, you have keyboards, you have guitars, you have it's like
you got
what
a
are you
whole
gonna go
myriad of,
you have construction, you have and you
I
have
love
the Pittsburgh Pirates or gambling or whatever.
Love my construction talks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of
there's a lot of
stuff.
options. Well, there's a lot of options for women too.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is our particular friend group, our interests are splintered. But with the girls, they all like Harry Potter.
They're all on
it doesn't
the same.
define them, but like
right. No,
you can hit.
They like the
them.
same things for sure. Like
well,
there's a lot of overlap. I should say. I didn't know you were talking. I thought you were talking
specifically
generally
for us. Yeah,
specifically for us. That's true. We are a very diversely interested group of people. The guys specifically, like we have good overlap though. Like me and John, Mike, sports, the gambling. We all like games. I mean, like the friend group was established from GameStop.
Yeah.
Essentially, like I always imagine like this family tree of like GameStop, like how everyone knows like,
really
this was his boss and
blah
blah blah blah. And like someday we should put that together. That would be fun.
Little
like tie it all, like like the Bible. They have like everyone Abraham down.
They're usually family members, but sure, yeah.
Well, this would be like Gerard was the boss, and
he was
at this store, and then you'd have all the stores.
Yeah,
Nebo, Ross Park.
Yeah, but we were all like, we just kind of were all part of this.
Oh,
that would
you shipped it.
actually be really fun to do, and then like get it printed, and I would just hang it up in our house and just see who actually would like notice it
Right?
over the course of
Wouldn't that be
whatever.
funny?
Yeah, that'd be funny. That's a good idea.
That would be good. I have good ideas sometimes.
Yeah.
But I forget what I was talking about. Podcast.
You're
Love
27.
it. I am 27. My brain matter is deteriorating.
You're just losing.
Does it turn
how does that
gray?
feel? What?
Does it turn gray?
What are you talking about?
Your brain?
Isn't it always gray?
I thought it was pink. Isn't the brain pink? That's what I see in like everything. Every time I play Mortal Kombat.
I don't know.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Mortal Kombat, Tekken. The Harry Potter thing. I picked up Tekken for you.
Yeah.
And you've seemed really excited, like when I'm talking to you about, oh man, you think Kuma's ever gonna marry Panda? It's like, I love that you know this now.
No. That wasn't even it.
I said
it wasn't the Panda Kuma thing. Are we just getting into Tekken? Is that what we're?
No,
trying
we
to
don't
do
have
now?
to.
No, we can.
But,
What else it wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was the fact that you were talking to Ling Xiaoyu, knowing the panda was her panda.
right. I was like,
It was
my
a level
last
deeper
obstacle.
that I was like,
My last obstacle to get married or something. I said, yeah.
That legit made me put a smile on my face. Like,
I love
man,
that,
that's
dude.
funny.
I love that, and like someday you'll play League and make me.
I was gonna
happy.
say
Yeah,
now
no.
I have a lot of pressure.
No. I actually really like Tekken. We'll get into that. I do want to talk about the state of play first.
Oh, I completely forgot about
So
that. Yeah,
if you want to pull that up, so
Yep.
state of play was Wednesday this week or last week when you're listening to this, and Tyler really liked it. I was kind of watching it in bed, like at the end of the day, so maybe I just wasn't as engaged due to like I was just tired. The only thing that I really latched on to, well, two things: the Kojima game, what is it called again? State of Decay? No,
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said all right. Death Stranding 2. So we got to see a lot of that, which we'll get into. But also there's Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth showcase soon or something. It's probably going to be like a demo or something.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But, well, they've been really successful with that. Like they did that for 16. They and I think that helped immensely in terms of sales, especially because the opening was really good.
The opening is what made me buy it.
Yeah,
so
right?
yeah, like sure.
But yeah, Tyler's got the list up. Let's walk through.
I was going to try to do this in order, but
they had
think this might not be in order.
Dragon's Dogma 2. I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about that. All right.
So this is a terrible first one.
Yeah.
Sega reveals Sonic X Shadow Generations.
That's the first reveal?
No. That's what I'm saying. This isn't in order.
Oh, it's not in
but
order.
It's all of them.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, what is that even on?
What do you mean?
What system? What?
I assume it's going to be on all systems, but
Oh.
Sony was. I mean, this is on PlayStation 5. So.
Right. I'm such a dummy. But it's not exclusive. I guess like my brain was like, these aren't all exclusives, right?
No.
Someone was talking about this. I think it was like Maximilian Dude. Do you know who he is? He's like a YouTuber. Twitch streamer. He's a Twitch streamer.
I might. If I saw him, probably.
Yeah, he's like the fighting game guy.
Yeah.
Long hair. Yeah.
Like goatee.
Yeah.
Glasses. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's great, by the way. He was saying, like, he was explaining the difference between like a state of play and another, like a showcase. And the showcase or something is like exclusives, and the state of play is like non-exclusives. I didn't know that. I thought it was interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, it's something like the titles will indicate whether it's all PlayStation stuff or if
That's
it's,
interesting because it seemed like I was under the impression a lot of this was exclusive to PlayStation.
I don't think
like, certainly
so.
the PlayStation VR stuff, right? Maybe not.
Did they go over the VR? There was
a couple.
Oh, there was.
They were actually cool. Like, we'll get there. All right. So, do you care about Shadow? Are you a big Shadow the Hedgehog?
I remember
fan?
playing Shadow on the GameCube, and if everyone remembers this game, it was like one of the memeiest games.
But it was 3D, right?
It was 3D.
Yeah.
He had a gun. He had guns in that game.
So like this is
super cringe.
This is going to be like a.
Oh no, I'm not gonna
Sonic-
play this.
Yeah.
I just wanted to revisit that
Just
game.
old
I will say
childhood.
what that game did kind of interesting is like they had a map of like all your choices. You ever play like Detroit to Become Human?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Helpful. So you had, like Heavy Rain, like that studio.
Yeah.
They in Detroit become human. I think that's what's
They'll
called.
tell, and that's all like the Telltale games. will show you
Every end of every little session or whatever scene, they have like, oh, here's how many options there were, and you picked this, and Shadow did that, which I thought was I kind of like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got the top ending, or like, and you see all these branching paths. Anyways, I digress. Not gonna play it. Shadow sucks.
Yeah, Sonic just never did it for me personally. I think
He's not
I missed
Mario,
that.
bro. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, he's fast, but if you can't understand what's going on, then maybe it's just my
The lore
old
doesn't make
eyes.
sense to me either.
Yeah,
Big lore guy, so it's like, all right. Sorry.
because Mario just
Too
has so
too much time
lore.
on Sonic. Apologies.
Stellar Blades. I think this is the first thing they showed.
Yeah.
Stellar Blade is a
Oh,
PS5
yeah. Yep.
exclusive that comes out April 26th. It looks really good. The protagonist, like the whatever,
like
her
just the
name's
graphics,
Eve. Yeah,
graphics of it.
she's the only. Ironically enough, she's the only one that looks like it's kind of generic. Like I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the environments, the enemy, like everything else looks like varied and kind of cool, and the combat looks pretty decent, and like it looks interesting.
It reminds me of Nier.
But a better looking Nier, yeah,
You think so?
100%.
Yeah, I never played it, but it like that aesthetic
Yeah,
and like the female protagonist, and
Yeah.
probably inspired by that game.
yeah. It was kind of weird too because it looked like, unless they just have some sort of like AI, like they're doing that now. It's like if you put English on, the lip sync will lip sync to English.
Oh,
and
really?
stuff.
Yeah.
I forget what game started that, but it's like this AI generated thing. But
gotten really
the
good
lip
'cause I
sync
thought-
looked really good
Yeah.
for English, which
Yeah.
was a little weird because I was expecting them to just be very anime, and it wasn't.
Right.
Are you
Are you sure that
it.
they are doing it that way, or did they sync it to English?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I was just
I was
looking
under
at
the
it, and
impression
it
it
looked like it was
Sync to English. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be like impressive if it actually was like automated.
Yeah, or it's an English speaking game. I don't know. I was expecting it to be like
It's a Japanese studio.
dubbed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have like projections of like where is this going to sell the best, and
maybe
right.
I don't know. It looked like
Whiteboard.
it looked cool. I am a big fan of like the action
Yeah.
stuff like that. As long like I couldn't get a sense if it was a Souls like hard type game
Don't
because
think
like
so.
she would sit on like a bench to like regenerate.
Rest,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, so then does that mean like
that
then
the
all the
fi- is
enemies
that
are
the
back and
campfire?
stuff?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
But,
I didn't get that vibe from it, but
what about Ho-Yo versus action RPG Zenless Zone Zero?
I do not remember this
It
one at all.
looked, and I know
one- which one
I'm
is this?
being really kind of reductive here, but like it looked kind of the same, but like if it was all cell shaded, like 3D cell shaded. It looked good, but again, it's the action RPG, just running around hitting things type of
Right,
thing. Like
right.
that's
It's right up your alley.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Tyler game, which we are doing this year. So keep that in mind. Like whenever we're doing the game of the year stuff, it's like, oh, that's a John game. Oh, that's a Tyler game. That's a Jeff game. Like that's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So anyway, also I thought it looked good. Here's some stuff. Silent Hill, the short message, which is out now,
Yeah.
available for free on PS5. And they're doing a Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yes.
So my two thoughts on this: one, the short message looked good graphically. I think there's and I know Zach really wanted you to play this one because he
Yeah,
knows how much
that's
he
right.
loves horror games.
Uh-huh.
This is one where it's like I can do horror games.
Yeah.
This is a different level of horror where I'm like, if I'm in like a building or a tight thing and there's like a creepy Carly skittering thing coming at me, like, nah.
You don't
I'm
do well
good.
with that. Yeah.
Especially, and this is how far down I go, is like, especially when I'm in a new house and I'm not comfortable with it yet. Like, dude, I
makes
hear
sense.
so many creaks and groans
Yeah.
and everything at night that just kept me up for hours. I'm like,
Ugh.
I can't.
Gotta get like a
Can't do
fan, like
that.
some white noise or something.
Something,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I struggle with horror games. First of all, especially, can you fight in Silent Hill, or is it just like one of those runners?
You couldn't too. I don't know if you can.
I didn't see any
fight
weapons
in
in
the
this
new
one,
one.
if I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly, with the chick. Right, this is the one with the chick.
Yeah.
That's a no. That's a no. Like Outlast or whatever.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. Like I'm just running away.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Like Alan Wake, I have a gun.
Right. And like the Silent Hill 2 remake they showed, and honestly, it looked like the graphic, like it was kind of weird because like all the other graphics up to that point looked really good. I was like, oh, this is the next gen stuff finally. Right. That's like only on PS5. We're starting to see like the power come out.
Yeah.
And then they put this up, and I'm like, dude, Resident Evil 2 looked better than this.
Oh, 100%.
Just like the remake, you know? So it's like,
right.
That's always going to be the bar that people have, but
they showed nothing like but combat for the remake, and the consensus online was like really weirded out by that because like the combat in the original Silent Hill, like that's not why you play the game.
Yeah.
It's like the aesthetic of
I wonder if they're just trying to get more people to play it, where it's like, hey, you like that Resident Evil 4 that came out last year, right? Like maybe try this.
They're either saying like, oh, the combat's way better, or they're hiding.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, let's just show combat, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I'm probably not going to play it.
That's...
And you might tell me it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, but Alan Wake was enough. Like, I've heard enough good things about it. I was like, okay. If people start saying that this is the best thing ever, sure, maybe, but probably a miss on the Couch Company side.
Yeah.
Maybe Jeff will pick that up for us. He can
Jeff
go play
snags
that.
those sometimes. Yeah.
Because he loves horror games, too.
Oh, my gosh.
What about Judas? That's from the people... Ghost Story Games, I think, is the developer.
Is this the BioShock one?
Team.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was very BioShock.
Yeah.
In terms of like the combat stuff, like you have the one hand with the magic and shooting and stuff. It was kind of cool. I mean, like I liked the concept of it. Like the villain seems interesting. The girl, I guess. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I like the thing that stood out to me the most is I think this is going to be a game that people are going to do a YouTube trailer on where it's like, hey, this is the trailer that they dropped. Here's the actual graphics. Because I was watching that and I'm like, dude, if it can look this good,
right?
That's it's friggin' awesome.
Seemed like a trailery trailer.
Yeah. So it was like they were showing gameplay, but it was very stylized and very like not real gameplay. It looked like.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, but it's one of those like BioShock was not even genre. It was a console defining like, hey, play BioShock like immediately.
Right.
Which I think was Xbox exclusive. It came out only on Xbox first and then eventually came to PS3. I could be wrong.
I don't know if that's correct. I think I remember my friends playing it on PlayStation, but
day one, like right off the bat. I could not remember, but
yeah, I know my friends played on PlayStation. I don't know day one, so maybe not. But.
Well, I definitely know they came out with like a collection and everything. Play that through. But anyway,
I just remember playing the demo of BioShock.
BioShock's great. Did you ever play BioShock?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you play all of them?
I played one. I played Infinite.
Okay, so you played the good
ones. Yeah.
2 is good. Apparently, Minerva's Den is the best BioShock you can get, and that's a big gap in my gameplay.
I didn't know that
of BioShock. Yeah,
interesting.
The DLC. I don't think it's standalone, but it's the DLC for BioShock 2.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you for the context. Yeah, I never played 2.
It wasn't made by the BioShock guys. So it was like, whatever.
I see.
But then that's also the same thing with Judas, where it's like, oh, it's by the developers of BioShock. It's like,
but the best one was
what? The Joe Schmo, like.
Oh, we talked about that, right?
Yeah,
like we had that conversation where it's like, oh, this guy was the janitor for.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
I'm not saying that. That sounds mean. Like,
it's the environmental artist for this or something. Yeah,
did a great job. BioShock's great, but yeah, you can be misleading with that.
I haven't been keeping up with all of that.
Yeah, I'd love to track like what did this person do?
Because I guess my main thing is the main director of BioShock, who his name escapes me now. I don't know if Ghost Story Games is his studio. It might be. Is it? It's not Ken Levine. No,
I have no idea.
Mortal Kombat. I don't know. I'm done.
I'm bad at it.
Moving on. Let's get into VR real quick. Metro Awakening is coming to PSVR.
Excited about that?
Do you
have a PlayStation VR?
No,
you don't have it.
I don't have a PlayStation VR.
Okay, so these are probably not going to apply to us.
No, it looked cool.
Yeah.
So props to that, but I don't know. Foam Stars Season 1.
Yeah.
Splatoon.
That's Splatoon for PlayStation. Like,
Yeah.
I was literally watching that thinking, like, is anyone going to play? Like, who is sitting there like, Foam Stars, baby?
So
had this one circled.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
We have Foam Stars coming out. Pow World just came out.
Right.
So, like, well, I'm definitely going to be playing Power World just to get an I think it's something we should be trying. You know, like, we don't have an excuse not to. It's on Game Pass. But, like, at what point does Nintendo look at this? And they're just like, dude, these guys are stealing all our ideas. They're just putting it out on other things. Like, are you so guarded on your, you know, Nintendo Switch 2 device coming up or whatever? Or are you going to start kind of like broadening a little bit or being like, oh, hey, look, turns out Power had the most concurrent users on Steam
Ever?
It's like second highest to
PUBG?
Yeah, I guess. But it was like it was the only other one to crack 10 million. I'm making this up, like 10 million concurrent users at once. Or what concurrent means, but you know what I mean. Like,
no, I got you.
So like, why?
I'm sorry, I'm kind of like trying to understand your point here. So Nintendo, like you're questioning like, what their move should be. Like, what do you do if you're Nintendo?
I'm saying there's an audience, right? Like, I'm not talking legal litigation on like, man, I'm just being redundant. I'm not talking litigation on like, oh, you stole our idea, so we're suing you. Or, Foam, what's it called?
Stars?
Foam Stars is Splatoon, so we're suing you.
Right.
Which, holy crap, is it like
Splatoon.
The same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But it's proving that it's like, look, if you just made a high-end version of this, put it on PC, and just started publishing games to other platforms outside of like your handheld,
right?
You unlock like
the audience
more. Yeah, like look, I understand there are people that just have a Switch.
Yep.
But I'm willing to bet there are more people that have a Switch as a secondary console. Right? Like, in and I could be way off base, but in my mind, Switches are for kids first getting into games, right?
Yep.
Or they're like us, where it's like, oh, we have this gap that we want to play like Mario, or I'm feeling Pokemon, and that's the only place I can play it, so I'll just buy the console.
Yep. They
can't be making that much money on the consoles with all the R&D that goes into it.
Yeah.
I know Microsoft was taking a hit on Xboxes, but they had to sell them just to get the Game Pass and all their other things.
Right.
So anyway, long-winded way of saying, like, I would love to just see Nintendo just start publishing on, like, okay, hey, you have a PC? Cool. Here's Pokemon. Oh, and it runs at 60. Oh, here's Zelda running at 60, 4K, perfect.
That'd be big.
Draw distance and everything. Like, suddenly, oh, I actually want to play these games now because they don't chug on my machine, or I don't hate the controls immediately.
I think the brand of Nintendo, though, has always been, like, accessibility and easy.
Sure.
So like that doesn't really line up with the PC gamer market,
right?
And PC ports are nightmares, right? Like that's just so.
But my thing is like, how many more games do you need? Strikers taken?
Look, I'm with you, man. I don't think it happens though. They're always very stubborn, man. Yeah. They're so stubborn when it comes to these types of things. Like what you're saying is 100% logical. You know, you're kind of bleeding here.
Like, you know what Pokemon doesn't? Like, you don't have 10 million people playing Pokemon.
No, but it's also a way different model, right? It's free to play. It's
well, Power World's not free to play.
Oh, it's not?
No.
That's shocking.
It's $30.
That's shocking.
Why?
Usually those games that pop off that break all these records are like free to play because they're just
it's literally, oh, you like Pokemon and here's a crafting thing. Oh, it's a great streaming game and now everyone's just playing it together.
Kind of like Among Us.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Among Us might be the best streaming game of all time.
It is very
that meta on Twitch was like one of my favorite where you saw all the personalities get together.
Yeah.
Everyone started getting their own like reputation. Like Disguised Toast was the most genius player ever, just pulling off these moves. All right, sorry, sidetrack. I just missed those days. That was like 2020 or something.
Okay, last thing.
Okay,
the Among Us it's the same thing as like Animal Crossing. We're locked in our houses during COVID. oh hey, here's this game that like now you can like really get into and play, and everyone's kind of like talking about, and anyone can play it, and it's just kind of this dumb fun thing. But
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb fun, Dave the Diver.
Yeah, I
coming
thought of
into
you.
PS5 and PS4 in April, which is great. But then Godzilla pops out of the ocean.
Did you play the crossover?
No, not yet.
Oh, I thought that was right up your alley.
Buddy, it is. I have a serious problem when it comes to DLCs.
Ooh. Okay.
I very, very rarely, with the Tekken's a little different because it's like, here's a new fighter, and then you just keep playing.
Right.
But like, I don't play the DLC content from anything. Like, I didn't do it for Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild. Well, technically Breath of the Wild too, but the Call of the Wild or whatever the Horizon DLC was.
Yeah, I didn't play that one either.
I didn't play that. I didn't play the previous one. So it's like, with the exception of maybe Alan Wake, because I'm just really curious about it.
Oh yeah.
I typically don't play DLC unless I get the game after it's released. And it's like some Game of the Year version. Yeah. And I'm just like catching up to it.
You didn't play Cyberpunk either, which like
I didn't.
Big
buddy
miss there. I think that was incredible.
It is such a gap in how I play video games, where it's like, in my mind, especially if I really like the game, that's the irony of it, is like, I love this game, I 100%ed it.
Yep.
But in my mind, dude, you finish that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't need to go
Well,
back
you're
in
completionist, right? Like you check the box. We don't come back to
you don't
box
revisit.
Here. No, yeah. That makes sense. But I know you were like Dredge, right?
Yeah.
Dredge and Day of the Diver were like 2 of your top games.
To be fair, is that even out? I don't even know if that's out yet.
It has to be. They talked about that during the Game of the Year show, which was like
I knew it was coming.
3 months ago.
Actually, I guess it's been a while.
It has to be 4 months ago. Wow.
Yeah. But again, I played 60 hours of Day of the Diver or some insane number.
Yeah.
So it's like, at a certain point, it's like I've had my fill of that game.
Yeah, I gotta finish that game because like there was some crazy shit that they were showing.
Yeah.
Like tentacle sharks. I was like, I didn't see this guy.
Yeah.
I got to the depths though where it's dark, but there's more, I guess.
Yeah.
There's like a lot more.
There's like an ice area and you have to go down there.
That game's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, wow. All right. Anyways, what's next on the list?
Anyway, but Godzilla, cool.
Yeah, that is
I don't
interesting.
know
Like, how is Dave gonna take down Godzilla?
Yeah.
That's a very. Are you gonna sell Godzilla meat?
Yeah, right. Like you can't do that. Like,
So
do
weird.
you have to just feed Godzilla a bunch of sushi?
I'm sure they do.
Oh,
That's an interesting premise.
That's probably gonna be
Probably what it is. You have to feed him. Oh my god!
Yeah, because like Dave isn't gonna kill Godzilla.
He might be the strongest.
Yeah, but
character.
you think Godzilla, like the people that own Godzilla?
Oh
the
no,
Godzilla
they're not gonna let
rights.
him lose to Dave. That's a good point.
It's like
he's like the Rock, where he's written in his
there's
contract.
a Rock, and like Dave's gonna serve up the Rock.
No, I'm saying like the Rock has he can't like it's written in his contract.
Yeah, you can't lose. Yeah.
Which is so like your ego, man. I like the Rock. I think he's a cool guy, but like when I heard that, I was like, dude, seriously, you
Dude,
can't
Batista
lose?
doesn't do that. Batista is just like,
just take an L, man. Like, be a good actor. Take an L.
Yeah.
Got to know how to lose.
Did you play V Rising with us when we got into V Rising? I think it was just me, Nate, and Harbin.
Yeah, no, you guys.
What a great game, but that's also coming to PS5 this year.
Oh,
so
I missed that.
That's actually awesome because I would love to see how that translates to a controller. I think that's really cool. The gameplay looked really great. I'm really excited to see kind of all the extra stuff they put in the game.
Right.
That was very server based though. So I wonder if now that it's like out, if they have like dedicated servers.
Right.
In which case that could be really fun.
That'd be nice.
But I mean, the whole crux of that game is like you start a new server and it's on 24/7.
Right. I remember you guys were
and like you have to like build your fort and put like barricades and up and
it looked neat. I never saw it. Like I didn't look at the gameplay. But I know you guys were trying to get me into it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I skipped it, but
because it's a lot of cut down the tree and break down the rocks.
That's why I skipped it.
Yeah,
that's not me.
All right. Rise of the Ronin. A lot of gameplay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Which was kind of cool.
It kind of confused me because it seemed like a period piece, but then he's like fighting a monster. Well, not a monster, but like a weird dude with
big guy.
Yeah, he's like 8 feet tall and like his arms are like machetes. I forget, but it was like weird. It was like out of place almost, where it's like it looked like a Dark Souls thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's not Dark Souls though, right? Isn't it closer to the other?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's like the yeah.
I have it.
So
it's not Sekiro.
No. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I bought that.
Yeah, because the stances.
Ratchet.
It's exactly like not exactly like that, but it's similar because like it's all about what stance you use. You got to counter, blah blah blah. I don't know. Like, do you like that? Does that set piece intrigue you? I don't know how I feel about it.
No, because they're all starting to run together for me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they showed
Oversaturated.
a ton of those. Oh, here is feudal Japan, and
Yeah.
then there's like 6 of them. And
Do you play Ghosts?
No, I own it. It's still in the cellophane.
That was a beautiful game.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be one of those things that I was planning like. So I bought that and I bought Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And I was like, those 2 are gonna be my like just comfort game. I'll just put on the TV and I'll sit on the couch and play it.
Sure.
And
You played Ratchet and Clank?
Huh?
You played Ratchet and Clank?
No.
Never? I thought you were telling me how good it looked and everything.
Yeah, well, I got 10 minutes into it, but I didn't actually like
man.
play anything with it.
That game's gorgeous.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. I'm not. There's like guns in it too. It was kind of interesting.
I'll check it out. But that might be like if it gets a decent
Good review,
or
right?
something,
I think
yeah.
on the same page there.
See what the score is, dude. There's so many games. Just, I mean, we did. Well, you did the $50 version of Prince of Persia, but I still got to finish that.
Such a mistake.
Which I think I'm close.
Yeah.
Tekken's just
100%ing it.
taking over everything. No, I'm not. I don't like it that much to 100% it. We are so like not with the general review populace for our first game of 2024.
Yeah.
Prince of Persia, like
No.
I was listening to like Fire Escape or Giant Bomb or like other podcasts, and it's just like they're raving about it. And I'm like, dude, what they're raving about are like some of the things I'm just like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, that's awesome, but
it's Castlevania. Just that maybe it's a genre thing.
It's gotta be.
I was shocked. It has like an 87. There's just no way in my mind this game's above a purple, like an 82 or whatever.
I mean, we gave it 180 last week, so
yeah, it's not bad, but
yeah,
it's that good. Like an 87 to me is like one of the best in the genre.
Yeah,
or getting up there, or like you got to play this even if you're not a fan of this type of game. I mean, interesting. I mean, but that's the beauty of it, right? Everyone's got their own opinions. They call them.
Which yeah, but I mean that's good because then we can.
Yeah, no, I think we're usually pretty close, and I'm like thinking to myself, man, am I just being biased because I'm like trying to go with the consensus? So I'm glad. Yeah, we
talk about it. We break it down. It's like, no, here's our points.
I like our structure too.
Justin was nice. He sent me a message. He's like, I agree with you guys. Like he's got to listen to it, and he's like, you're right. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
Justin, that's my guy.
Yeah. Till he kicks your ass.
Dude,
we'll get there. I'll get there. All right, a couple more. Enhanced version of Until Dawn comes to PS5 and PC this year.
Never played Until Dawn?
Could not care less.
Okay.
So. Yeah, like less. Least. I could not care less.
I could not care less, yeah. Least.
Legendary Tales, which is a VR 2. And I actually feel really bad for these guys. It looked cool. This is the one where it's VR and they're just like pummeling skeletons and like stabbing
like
skeletons.
Really funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But when you...
The favorite part was like he flips the table and is beating the shit out of
Yeah.
That's cool.
But when you have Metro right before that...
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
like
Metro looks insanely good.
It's a meme game, though. I think...
Yeah.
I don't think you're buying that.
Put your meme game first, then put Metro.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. It just seemed like Metro
seems like a dumb,
overshadowed
fun
it
game, though.
Yeah.
And a good streaming game. Like, I just think you can get a lot of silly stuff out of that.
Yeah. It's such a pain to stream. Maybe less so on PlayStation, but dude, to stream like VR, especially if you're like walking around and stuff, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
Wouldn't look forward to that.
So the last two, New Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yep.
Trailer was showcased. Warfarer Vocation.
What's that?
I don't know. And out March 22nd. It looked fine. I don't understand why.
Yep.
And I think we talked about this, but I don't
complete agreement.
I don't get why this is such a everyone's raving about it.
People are so hyped for this game.
Yeah.
And I cannot find, like, if it seems competent. I like the different
Yeah.
classes.
Yep, everything looks good.
You know, that you can kind of combine classes, it looks like, and your class kind of expands into like a more advanced thing, maybe. And maybe there's like some skill trees there. It's got to be a gameplay thing, right? It's got to be a gameplay thing.
Dude,
like everyone loves the gameplay.
When I look and there's a wizard with a wizard pointed hat,
Yep.
like the most generic, oh, hey, it could be Gandalf, it could be, any other wizard.
Yep.
And there's a dragon flying. It's like,
What
bored.
separates this?
I am
is this
so
like the
bored.
original?
Yeah.
Is this the original fantasy game?
I can't wait for, March 22nd to roll around and we're both like, this is the best game ever. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't.
Like, great,
I hope
but
that happens.
Me too.
I don't see the path.
We'll try it, right?
It seems
But,
like
yeah.
so like the characters don't have names, right? Am I mistaken on that?
Dude, I don't know a thing about it because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, look, everyone loves this. Just like everyone loved Alan Wake. So I'm hoping to catch lightning in a bottle twice. And I'm just like, okay, if this gets great reviews and everyone loves it, I'm going to go in completely blind.
But Alan Wake,
not playing that first one, and let's see.
But Alan Wake was different in my mind because you looked at the trailer. I mean, we both looked at the trailer and we were like blown away. I was like, this is a beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
Right. So it had like aspects to it where it's like, well, I can appreciate that in Dragon's Dogma, it was very middle of the road.
It's fair.
But maybe it's amazing. My only thought is it's amazing to play. Like it feels great to play. There's like a lot of customization or like combinations. And
If it's like Skyrim,
that's my only thought.
If it's like Skyrim, that's not enough for me.
I don't think it's like Skyrim at all. I didn't get that vibe.
I'll be bored and I'll hate it. If it's like fun, like you were saying, like if it's fun gameplay.
Yeah.
Like if I'm enjoying just going around the world and doing stuff.
Like making your build.
The developer was saying how it's like, oh, well, yeah, there's fast travel, but like we don't want you to fast travel. We want you to like go around the world and have interesting things to do around the world, and it like isn't a waste of time.
Yeah.
That speaks to me a lot, where I'm like, oh, there might be some, like, okay, you're thinking about, like, that could be all marketing, but if you're actively trying to, like, pitch, like, hey, be immersed, really dive into this world, give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to play it. There's just too much hype around it, but I'm curious to see where the fun is going to be for us.
Dude, the infinite wealth, the like a dragon infinite wealth.
Yeah.
Like multiple people are like, this is the best Yakuza game. Everyone loves it.
I know. It's so daunting to get into those because it's like I don't think it mattered. Like it's a standalone thing.
Here's my proposition to you, because we should be getting. Is there a Suicide Squad score out yet?
I haven't looked. Let me check.
Because I'm expecting that not to do. Yeah, 63.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't great. I told you, didn't I tell you the whole time like this is not gonna be a good game?
Yeah, and it really makes me sad. And R.I.P. Kevin Conroy. So my thing with this is, I bet you Suicide Squad gets on Game Pass at some point this year. If it does, I'll try it out. What I would like to do is I'm going to pivot from Suicide Squad, and I'm actually going to do Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, 63 is a green sick guy.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Which, I mean, this is a little kind of topical. Silent Hill, the short message, 53.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
There's that.
Didn't you say that looked good?
No, just graphically.
Oh, graphically.
It was like the, what was the one that, like the little demo they put out? PT.
Silent Hill's dead, dude. I mean, they keep trying to bring it back, and it's like
it's not. Dude, when Resident Evil comes out swinging just back to back to back to back, like it's wild. So I don't know.
Right? Yeah, you can't compete.
Anyway, I just wanted to call that out because I'm going to be hopefully jumping into Infinite Wealth. Which that one, where is that? That got it's at a 90.
Yeah.
Currently.
Persona is out today.
Persona 3, yeah.
As of recording, so I have to play that.
Do you want to do Persona and I'll do
Infinite Wealth? Yeah,
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, if I play Infinite Wealth and then I'm just like, dude, you gotta, this is...
Yeah, I gotta be prepared for the pivot.
People are saying it's like, if you go hard on it, it's like a 100-hour game.
Wow.
So like,
they've always been like that, though.
Love that. Yeah, but I don't love that, and it's like, it's tough for me to do. So we'll see. But that's gonna, I'm looking for the thing to get into. So that might be it. Okay, and then last but not least, well, I don't even need to look at my notes. Death Stranding 2.
Death Stranding 2.
This time it's on a beach or whatever the subtitle is. The beachfront.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Okay.
What is what called?
So there's Death
Beachfront?
Stranding 2, and then it's called something.
Oh,
Something
I
with
don't know.
beach in it,
Oh,
and I
beach,
don't remember.
Beachfront
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Okay. This game, what do you even say about this game? Like,
don't
how do you
know.
describe it?
So I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I was watching it.
Yep.
I fell asleep.
Yep.
Woke up.
You do that a lot.
And I was like, what is going on? And I dozed off again and woke up. I just kept like nodding in and
It's
out
like
of
a fever
consciousness.
dream.
But it truly was where I'm like, okay, I see
Like delirious.
Sam kind of like walking around and he's shirtless like he always is because whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, I guess, who's the voice actor? Not Nolan North. Who's the other guy?
I know who you're talking
you know
about,
what
but
I'm
I'm
talking
very bad with names.
Yeah. I'll think of it.
They had him in the little post thing where it's like, this guy's
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker, yeah.
Sorry, I had to like really think hard. He's doing the voice of Indiana Jones too.
Really?
He sounded kind of like Harrison Ford. I was like, man, he got some
he's
range.
one of the best.
So he's doing the Joker,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
He's
Anyway,
good. He's good.
he pops up and he's talking and stuff,
Yeah.
and then I see a baby in what can only be described as a Jack 8 suit. Shooting, like killing guys, and then the guy pulls out a guitar and starts doing riffs, and I'm just like, what am I watching? And I pass out again. I don't know. It was wild. But not knowing anything story-wise from the first game, this is actually one where they came out with a director's cut that I bought because I was like,
The first game?
The first game.
Yep.
So I got I maybe got like 2 hours into the first game.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember anything besides a kind of spoilery thing in the beginning that I don't even want to tell you because if you even think about wanting to play it, I'm like, that's kind of a cool thing.
Okay.
But I bought the director's cut where it's like it gives you if you're going to buy the game,
You got to go
get
with
the
that one.
director's cut.
Yep.
It gives you a better, I guess, opening and tutorial and stuff like that. Theoretically, I don't know.
Yeah. Are you going to? So I thought it was very Kojima, and I did
weird, man.
Not
Just
know it's
weird
gonna.
for
Like, is he a
weird's sake.
genius or is he just crazy?
Both.
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 Does it overlap? It's like it's one of. I was sitting there thinking like, I'm glad I live in the era of this guy because there will be no one like him ever again.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's a once in.
I don't
ever.
like his storytelling. I think that's the problem, and I'm probably going to get crucified for saying this, but it's like I don't necessarily like the storytelling. There are aha moments here and there, and there are some wacky people.
Yeah.
But he does it in a way where it's like he shows you somebody and they're talking and it's this thing, but like everyone in that universe just accepts it like it's the most normal thing in the world. And it's like, dude, you're killing guys with a guitar, just strumming riffs and shooting lightning bolts. Like that's normal. That's a thing. Like, oh, you're full of bees and you're attacking me, or you're this weird dream guy and stuff. And it's just like, oh, all right. Like, and they kind of explain it a little bit sometimes in like Metal Gear 3 or whatever, which I guess they're remaking that.
Yeah.
But it's like the gameplay is enough to keep me going through all of that. Like
Yeah.
Metal Gear 5, I still think like that's between that and Odyssey. Those are like the two gaps I think that like, man, you should get into Metal Gear 5 just to see, like, you want to know what Kojima is,
Yeah.
gameplay wise. That's your game.
That's his peak.
It's just bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what can you say? I mean, like how do
Yeah,
you describe
I'm
it in
gonna
words?
play it.
But
I'm
I was
trying
interested.
out.
I was intrigued. I mean, like it seems like super weird, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those games you either think it is a masterpiece or you're just so lost and confused.
A lot of people hated that game when it came out because it was coming
Death
off
Stranding.
of Phantom Pain,
Right.
and everyone was like, "We want another Phantom Pain,"
Yeah.
and it came off of that, and this was not like that,
No.
and people hated it. And then they, through word of mouth, everyone else is talking up. It's like, man, am I just crazy? Like, they come back at it now that they know it's not Metal Gear. They know
Expectation.
it's not Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Then they're looking at it through like kind of like a new IP, new lens, whatever.
Yep.
And then they're starting to oh, okay, like I see what he's doing here. And then they really like it by the end. So I'm hoping that, because I was in that camp, right? Like I played it. Boy, did I not really care for it, right?
Yeah.
Like it did some cool things, but ultimately I just want to strap a balloon to a sheep and have a farm on a base. It's stupid. So I'm going to try it. I don't know. Like it's just, if I'm playing Infinite Wealth and all this other stuff, it's like, when am I going to get time to play it?
Yeah. Especially with Tekken.
Yeah. Well, dude, Tekken is just on my mind 24/7.
It's pretty good.
It's a problem.
Should we jump into the Tekken talk then? So that was state of play. I thought Tyler was very impressed. I thought it was good.
Normally I'm
Not
bored,
great,
but
but
like everything, just the couple things I took out of state of play was everything looked really good graphically. I was just like impressed, and I'm happy that we're finally starting to get like, hey, this is just next gen stuff.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Gets excitement for the games coming out for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Tekken 8. I bought Tekken 8. Tyler's played Tekken 8 for 25 years.
You bought Tekken 8?
Oh,
Dude,
you bought
I
Tekken
gifted
8.
it. I gave it to you on
Tyler
a silver platter.
forced me to play Tekken 8. Let me rephrase. I had no way out of it because he literally bought it for me. What a great play by him. So we're gonna review it. Are we just gonna review it or what?
Yeah, no, we can review it.
All right, let's do it. Let me get my criteria up. We got our new format for reviewing, organized.
You still owe me Prince of Persia notes too, because I gotta get that right.
Oh, I was typing those up.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through that, typing those up.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but on to Tekken 8.
Tekken 8.
Where's my Notion? Can't find it. There it is. All right, why don't you start since I'm pulling this up? What's our first category?
Well, we can. So we have gameplay, story and characters, sound design, and presentation. Those are our 4 pillars for anyone new or haven't listened to our previous review.
Yep.
Out of those, what do you want to start
at
with?
the top. Let's start gameplay.
Start gameplay?
Yeah.
All right. Gameplay.
Okay. So this is going to be tough for me because I have not played fighting games since I was like a kid. Mm-hmm. So it's very new world for me. And a lot of people, like Tekken's obviously long-standing franchise. So the comparisons from previous ones, like I am envious of people who have been in there for the whole time. Because Tyler's like, oh man, Jin's got his Tekken 6 outfit and his Tekken 6 combo and blah, 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 and this and that. And I was like, oh man, I don't... Yeah. Everyone's new for me. You were saying like half the cast is new for you, but like everyone's new for me. So,
well, I dropped off a little bit, right? So like I didn't really I played I would say 1 through 4. Well, 1 through Tag 2 religiously.
Okay.
Like I really played the heck out of those.
Yeah.
But like 5 I dabbled in a little bit. 6 barely played.
That's shocking because like 5's considered one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't have anyone to play with. So it's okay, like after a while, like there wasn't a lot of single player stuff there. I want to say 5 didn't have a single player mode. So it's like it didn't have a story, right? So you're just playing like the other stuff. I think 6 was the first one that started the story. I think. And then they came out with like Tekken 5 Resurrection, which is like kind of like the All-Stars one. But anyway, like so 1 through Tag 2, I'm good. But then all these new characters, I don't know half of them.
Yeah.
And they have some new ones. So it's like, I know a handful of fighters and everything else is fairly, new.
Yeah.
But
so like newness is our first subcategory on this one. And it's like, it's all new to me. So, I don't know what thoughts you have. I can't speak very well to this one because I'm just a noob.
I think if we're being very honest with ourselves, the fighting, not very new. Like you have new characters, which is good.
Yep.
You have the heat system, which I actually very much like. Like
I
normally like Mortal Kombat had something similar, and I wasn't connecting with that. Mm-hmm. This I'm enjoying.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
and I like you get it every round. Mm-hmm. Very strategic on how you utilize it, right? And there's several ways to get into it. There's you get like an ultimate move out of it, which is stylish and cool.
Yeah.
So like even if you're bad like me, it's just one button to pull it off.
And it's the kind of rock, paper, scissors, cat and mouse, like it's coming.
Right.
Like, you have heat coming, and you know that you're eventually going to have an ultimate coming.
Right.
It took me an embarrassing long time to realize that there's like a little hatch mark on your health bar that once your health goes below a certain line, that's when you can do your ultimate, like your kind of rebound move.
Oh, well, it turns red.
Oh, no, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, I didn't realize that that's when it activated. I thought it was like you either have to get hit so many times or you have to hit them so many times. Like, it just didn't click with me until like very far into the game.
Low health. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Which they had in 7, and I just never used it. So, but it for whatever reason, it does click in this game.
Yeah.
But is all that like considered necessarily new? Maybe not. The new part is like when you're looking at like the arcade mode and the tutorials and the ghost battles and all of that stuff that kind of gets you into Tekken, really kind of takes your hand, guides you through everything, like the combo challenges and the practice moves and things like that. To my knowledge, a lot of that stuff wasn't in 7. I could be wrong, but I think that they did. Let's put it this way. If it was in 7, they didn't do nearly as good a job as they did 8, because 8 grabbed me and pulled me straight in.
Yep.
So give it what you will on that. Like, I think newness overall, it was like, is it just kind of tried and true Tekken? Like, they didn't really go too crazy.
Yeah.
I think they might have played some things safe, but it's pretty solid.
Is that a negative though? Like, let's get back to the roots of like Tekken.
Right.
It just seems like solid across the board. So I wouldn't. But fun factor, I will say, this game's a blast. I mean, this is like, it was very daunting to get into this game because fighting games are just really hard, and like if you're not in that world, it's hard to understand. There's all this terminology. It's how Tyler feels about League. I was telling him that it's like the same feeling there.
Yeah.
But they, like you were kind of alluding to, they do an amazing job of introducing you to that world and slowly, bit by bit, giving you things. And the key here, which made it so fun for me, was that it gave me success. I was seeing success early on, just if it was little things, like if it was just a little combo challenge, or like the arcade mode is fantastic, especially for new players. It gives you these really good tutorials that are based around, you know, some of the most important techniques and fundamentals to know. And it's like when you pull off your first combo, that's an amazing feeling. Like, you feel accomplished. You can see yourself getting better, progressing. And that has a lot to do with the tutorials, and specifically the practice mode is like super amazing. There's so many tools to utilize to get better at your character. And they give you like main techniques. So they're like in Tekken, there's like 1 million moves you have. You have like 150 moves,
which is insane. Like, that's triple what previous. Like, when I was talking with my cousin, I think you were in the party too. But it's like, from what I remember with the strategy guide, on even like Tekken Tag, which had more combos because like you could bring in your partner and stuff and do different things, but it wasn't near that. Unless the strategy guy just didn't have them or something like that. But it was just crazy the amount that they added.
And that's insane. But they have like 20 moves where it's like, here are your 20 core moves. Mm-hmm. It's gonna do everything. Like, here's a wake up, here's a low that you can do, here's a string that you got, right? Here's your most frequent grab or whatever. Like, it gives you everything you need. The tools are just amazing. I think that provides a lot of the funness for me. I don't know if that's a word, fun. And I mean, the gameplay, it's just a fun game. Like, it's hard to describe, but like Tyler and I are playing, and we're playing with Justin, and we're playing with Zach, and we're taking turns, and it's just like that experimentation, trying new people, seeing the success. I think the success is the most important part. Like, I can take a game off Tyler, even though he's played this game for
definitely
years and years, right? And he's better than me. And I beat like Justin. Like, Justin's insane, and I finally beat him like one time in the night. And it just feels like when you get those small wins, it's like, it's such an amazing feeling, and you just feel like, you know, I can hang, I can get in here. Like, I've been practicing this combo all day, and I finally pulled it off against Tyler, and he was like, "Oh my god, it's so unfair." And it's like,
and it's accessible, right?
It's so fun.
Like, you can pull up like the move thing. Like, every character, you just pull up like essentially like simplicity moves where it's like, hey, hit this button, just mash Y, and you're going to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, is that cheating? Is that not? But at the same time, it's like, look, your opponent can see what you're inputting.
True.
Right? If you bring that up.
Yep.
So like, okay, well, I know you're going to be doing the air thing because I see it a split second before you do it.
Right.
And you're limited to like 5 moves. So like, granted, every character is different, but if like, say Justin really likes Paul and he's constantly playing Paul.
Yeah.
He destroyed us.
Oh yeah.
But if he keeps using like the simplicity things, eventually we just know how to block it, and you can eventually just be like, okay, I nullify all that stuff.
Yeah.
He actually messaged me. I think he said he was going out. He was the old guy. Is it not? He might have said Leroy. I thought it was the assassin guy because I was like, oh man, John's gonna freak out over that.
What?
Let me see.
His main. He's picked the main.
Yeah, Victor. So the French guy.
The French guy.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
yeah, he says he played for 3 hours just like working on him. So
that's not fun.
But I'm excited. But that's the thing is like, as we're picking mains, I mean, so you pick Nina.
I'm pretty solid on Nina. I mean, it could still change, but
okay, all right.
I do really like her. I was telling Tyler this. I was like, so this game was so engaging and fun to me, where it's like it really reminded me of my journey in League, where at first it was like, holy crap, I don't know anything, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's overwhelming. This is exciting. That's how I felt about League, and I was just on YouTube looking for every tutorial, every video, and that's what I was doing for Tekken. Like, looking for Nina guides, looking for just basic guides, movement guides, punishes, like all this stuff, learning the terminology. It's a really exciting time, and like I'm just gathering so much information that it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's a big part of it, like fighting games too, like finding that character. And there's so many. There's like 32, I think, or something.
32, yeah. Yep.
And there's someone for everyone.
Look here, I'm gonna say 31. Because Kuma and Panda are the same character.
No.
And I think that is...
A Kuma main is very different than a Panda main. I watched a video on this.
Yeah?
They're very different people.
Different people?
Yeah.
Like moves and stuff?
No. They have one different move.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I mean. The ultimate is different. And then
right.
Yeah. Or I guess your heat's a little different too. Whatever.
But they're different.
But
32.
Sure. But funness factor, I think overall, like having you playing it and liking it, and I know I texted you, I'm like, look, man, if you're just throwing me a bone, because that seems very you, but it did feel like I was kind of transported back a little bit. Like you were saying, oh, it's like 1999. It's like, yeah, to some extent, but like it is in the way that like I didn't really, like aside from Justin, who I didn't, I mean, like, yeah, I'd see him, I don't know, 6-7 times a year or whatever, and would play or something like that.
Yeah.
But like being able to like, oh, hey, you want to hop on, play a few rounds, whatever. It's like I actually have somebody to play with when I just played the computer all the time as a kid, because I was very sheltered and lonely as a child.
Oh no.
So it's like, it's better. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm transported back, but it's like better because I have somebody to actually like be a rival with. And like, oh, I see, like just in 3 days, I saw your combos went up, your usage of like when to hit things. We are getting each other's heads in terms of like tricking each other, because we know each other's kind of like, oh, okay, if you hit this, then I know I'm going to do this. Like, so then you start trying to like break each other's like habits and stuff, which is just awesome. And that's within a couple days.
Yep.
I love the idea where it's like, you know, if you're, you know, I'll call you maining Nina now if you change it, whatever. But it's like, okay, you're maining Nina. I'll be like, okay, I'll be Law. That's gonna be my main guy. And then whenever you bring both of them out, and it's like, okay, like this is like
serious.
Yeah,
serious.
It's
match.
like, okay, I'm not just like goofing around with like Kuma. It's
like we finished last time we played with like, all right,
yeah.
So we played like a best of 3 or something. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, fun factor is just
it's an addicting game, and I love the like speed. Like I go back to League because it's a very similar category for me, where it's like a competitive game, like and I, you know, it's just similar vibes to me, but in that aspect, the quickness, right? The games don't last that long, so you get right back into the action. And it's like I love that quick turnaround time. That keeps people engaged. And again, I don't know if everyone feels this way, but I have a blast in the practice tool. Just I can do this and that changes into this, and like just learning new things and there's so many characters doing on. I'm spending a lot of time on just one because it's like you know, you're never gonna know everything. There's always more to learn. I love games like that. So leagues like that, Tekken obviously like that, like all fighting games. So
like it will let you grow as much as you want to grow.
Yeah,
like
yeah, you can go as hard as you want.
Yeah.
There's no limit for sure. So I was telling Tyler, my thumbs are like, I think I said it earlier in the episode, like I have calluses on my thumbs.
Yeah,
because I'm just like grinding.
Well, it's crazy too because it's like it's based per character. So it's like, oh, you grind your law all the way up to master. Well, I don't even know what the ranks are.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, I'm gonna try Kuma now. And it's like, welcome to beginner.
Yeah, well,
and then you get that dopamine every time. It's not like you as a player is like super high, and then if you want to try something, it like wrecks your overall ranking.
Right. Yeah.
Which is awesome because then it's like you're constantly playing against people that are within your skill rating, and you have the power to be like, I only want to do plus or minus 2, or I can do 3 or 4, or you can, if you really like, if you want to challenge, bump it up and see if you can take on the next person.
Yeah.
They do a really good job with that.
Yeah.
That's a little more presentation. We'll get there, but
yeah, no, but genre advancement, this game, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, like the training tool, the tutorials and stuff, I think incredible. Yeah. Again, I don't have a lot of experience in the fighting game world, but I think there's a lot of features in here that from a new player's perspective, I can speak pretty well on it, that it's been incredibly welcoming and useful and engaging the entire time, where I feel myself getting better. I feel myself involved. It's not boring. I'm not falling asleep. It puts you right into the action. I love that about the arcade mode specifically. Yeah, it's like this cheesy thing where you're going through an arcade, but it doesn't feel like, I don't hate that, right? It's not bad.
I was shocked at how it wasn't overbearing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they balanced it perfectly. And in the train, like you can do the ghost fights, so you can fight against people, but they have these replay options or something like this where you can view your past matches, and you can actually stop in the middle of the match and it'll be like, oh, you screwed up here. Here's what you want to do. Here's the punish for that. And then you can actually practice that. Like what an amazing system where it's like you said, as in depth as you want to go.
Yep.
You have all these tools and resources, and I mean, the sky's the limit for sure. Like you can just utilize all these. I mean, I don't even know all the features in the practice tool yet. You know,
I think like when you're talking the genre advancement, I think that's a major component. I play a little bit of Street Fighter 6, right?
Yeah, very
new to that series. Mortal Kombat, I'll call myself new. I played the other ones, but like from I want to get good, so to speak.
Yeah.
Both of those games were lauded for their tutorials, and they were like, "Oh, it's a really good tutorial. Oh, this is really good tutorial and stuff." They don't hold a candle to Tekken. And the crazy thing is, me being new to those, you would think that I would be more inclined to be like, "Okay, I really want to seek this tutorial. I'll get good at the game, figure this out, blah blah blah." Similar to how you're doing with Tekken. I'm a Tekken veteran, and I'm still getting drawn into the tutorials and stuff because it's such a non-abrasive way of being like they almost to a fault, but they're just cheesy, like you were saying, of like, hey man, play Tekken. It's just for fun. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a competitor, like we have that too for you. So it spans it all.
Both well.
And it's crazy that a game that I feel pretty comfortable in, even though I'm terrible at fighting games, but like I'm comfortable in Tekken, that draws me into the practice stuff more than a new game that should be teaching me the game and stuff like that. So like as good as, you know, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were last year, Tekken just does it better. Like it's a better way of advancing the genre.
No, yeah, I think it's great. And, you know, I'm not an expert on it, but just my perception of it from my, experience, it seems like there's so many tools and it's so resource rich.
Yeah.
To help you out.
Yeah.
And then the loop, I mean,
you kind of touched on it.
Yeah,
it's
the loop's
fast.
fun too. It's fun.
Yeah,
it gets you right back in. There's a lot of ways to play. You can go through all the character stories. The main campaign is fun, and they have some like different modes in the campaign as well. We'll probably touch on like during like the war scene. I don't even know what you call that. It was like you're fighting waves of enemies and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a Tekken Force throwback.
Oh, okay.
That's how you played the Tekken Force mode. Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
in 3 there was literally Tekken
right.
Force. And it was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah. But the loop's fun. I haven't done online yet, so I think that probably helps my perception of the game because I've just been playing with friends, and that's always going to be the best way to play.
Yeah.
Like fighting games. But the loop's fun. The arcade mode's fun. There's a lot of modes, and it's like Tyler said, it's the quick hits, it's the success that you see, and then even the failure is like, oh man, I just got crushed by Tyler's Law. Now I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna pick law and learn all the punishes. Because you can do that.
So I literally downloaded your Ghost today.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right. And like the cool thing is it picks the game, like the characters that you play a lot of. Mm-hmm. So oddly enough, you have your King, Nina, and I want to say Kuma, and you have those three.
Yeah.
So it's like, I grabbed your Nina, downloaded the Ghost data, and it's like whenever I want to like just keep going against that, you can't, and you can fight your own Ghost.
Right.
To like essentially level it up,
right.
figure out your weaknesses and things like that, and it learns every time you fight it and stuff. So like, it's almost like you're beefing up your guy. So whenever you download the Ghost data, you fight again. Maybe you throw a little trick in there. Or something like that.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, story and characters. Memorable. Look, fighting games do this fantastic. The good fighting games. They're characters because you have to, right? Like you have to have a unique roster where their personality comes out in their combat. Because like traditionally, there's not a lot of story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore. Apparently, I watched a 2-hour video on it.
Right.
But like fighting game, it's you have to like have these distinct characters. Like that's half the part. Like having your champion and not champion character in this, I guess, but and that it kind of is a reflection of your style, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can tell something about a person based on their
sure
Tekken main, I'm sure, or whatever. A lot of these characters are memorable. I knew of a lot of these characters before I even played Tekken, right? So that goes to show like something. Like I knew Heihachi, I knew Jin, Kazuya, right?
Yeah,
the big three. And I don't know. I think I would say it hits at like a 85% clip. Like some of the characters are like, who cares?
Sure.
Right. But most of them are like, oh, this is interesting. This is a freaking bear. It's a wrestler in a Jaguars match. It's a big robot.
Yeah.
It's just like you get the whole spectrum. And it's like
maybe fighting games are special in this regard, but like I don't think I've ever had a game where I can immediately recall every name of every character.
Yeah.
Just because it's like you're just constantly seeing, you're constantly hearing like that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like even story-driven games and stuff, like I'll forget names. I'll be like, wait, which one is this? Especially when you're going into like a Baldur's Gate or whatever. It's like, good luck. Like you're never gonna do that.
Right.
But yeah, this is, they're memorable in the way of like it's either you play them and you click with them and you're like, oh, I really like this guy, and you kind of like go into that, or almost like the opposite where it's like, I mean, even I was telling you with Justin where it's like, oh, I've been playing Victor, and it's like, crap.
Yeah.
I like immediately in your head, like, and this is crazy where it's like, all right, if I'm playing Nina and he has Victor, like you're already thinking of like, okay, what's the strengths, what the weakness, how can I do, how can I exploit XYZ?
Yep.
Like it's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And in fighting games in particular, it's more tied to like, I mean, there's a story in this, right? And we'll talk about the story, but the characters
shut this window. I'm like freezing now.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. The characters are so tied to the gameplay, which is super unique. I think in a lot of other games, when you're talking about the story-driven games, you're like talking about the characters, how they fit into the story and stuff. And it's like this, it almost doesn't matter. Like they all are doing things, but there's a lot of characters that are super cool that have little to no role in like the story mode.
Yep.
Like King is like pretty non-existent. Right?
He just shows up.
I'll
help.
But
whatever.
everyone starts cheering for him. It's like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's just little things like that. It's, I don't know. You get every bit of value out of the character. They're stylish. They're cool. Mm-hmm. Their moves reflect their personality, which you can kind of, identify with, and that's why people are drawn to certain characters, right? So I just love that aspect of it. And I'll mention this here: the customization in this game is fantastic, and I think that just goes even more into like the memorable aspect of the characters. Like, I dressed up Nina in like this dress, and I spent like 30 minutes doing it. I thought she looked so sick. And Tyler's like, "Whoa, is that a preset thing?" I was like, "No, dude, I just made this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That is pretty good."
It's good.
So it's like you can do memes and stuff, which is also memorable, which is awesome.
People usually make them look so goofy.
Yeah.
And you made, like, I mean, I made Law look pretty goofy, but it's still within his
That's fantastic.
character, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there is an art form. Like you have 3 different people. You have, and I'm gonna loop Zach into this because he likes to do just weird stuff.
Yeah.
You have the people that just throw whatever on just to make it weird.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's funny. It's
Sure.
like, oh, okay, cool. I've never seen King look like this.
Yeah.
Then you have the people that spend a lot of time, make an improvement to the model, right? Like it's like you're putting everything on, but it's still valid to the character of itself. And then you have people that not mod it, but like customize it to look like I saw Ash Ketchum.
Yeah,
I made a Leon because I saw it online. I was like, I'm absolutely making that. So like Jin's Leon from Resident Evil 4 now.
I saw Jack 8 Optimus Prime.
I saw a Buzz Lightyear.
For him?
For him?
Yeah.
I took so
God,
many
it's so
pictures. Like
funny.
I'm gonna just spend a night and just make all of them. Yeah.
You made like a Winnie the Pooh Kuma.
Yeah.
That's what your first
Yeah.
was, which was hilarious. Yeah, but I think that goes into that memorable aspect of it because you have your own imprint. You can make your character. The customization is so awesome. I was hearing that 7 was better. People were saying, but I still think there's a lot of options in this game. You can do a lot of things like you were just mentioning.
And there's no I'm sure they'll add stuff and put things. I
Right.
mean, we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Pacing. So I thought actually the campaign's very short.
Yeah. Around like 4 hours.
But it's paced well. Like I know that in previous games there was no campaign, there was no story. But like the critique of like 6 and 7 was like the story was kind of all over the place. There was like peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty consistent. Like
It was one thread. It was like, okay,
yeah.
here's your one
it's one
storyline.
thread.
That's it.
It's not trying to do too much,
Yeah.
which is good. It knows what it wants to say. It does it. There's some really epic moments. And I didn't find myself getting like I breezed through it. I was engaged. I thought it was fun. I thought the pacing was actually really well done. Where it's like, maybe in previous games people were like, "What are we doing here?"
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this was like clear, like you said, concise, clear. We know what the objective is, and we did it.
And I guess is story next. I guess we can kind of loop both of those together.
Story and wow factor.
Wow
I mean, we're in the
factor,
story and character
yeah,
section.
I guess. Okay. So the thing with the pacing is like it is. I could see it being called kind of one note, where it's like, all right. I mean, like it's because
Father
there
versus
is
son.
just one thread.
Yeah.
It's one thing.
You're
It's
right.
like it's fine.
From that very first fight.
Yeah, and they split it up a little bit, but it's still you have your main thread, and the only reason why they split up a little is just to add more characters. You can like fight other people and
Right,
stuff.
of course.
But yeah, I thought overall it didn't overstay its welcome. It was
No.
4 hour jaunt.
We actually got to play the tournament, which was super cool. I feel like you don't always get to do that in these. So
That was 4 was the first one where it actually had like the crowd and everyone was like, oh, this is actually like a thing, and like you saw people getting knocked out and stuff, and it was really cool.
yeah. So I thought it was paced very well. So wow factor. This game, the story in particular, there were some really cool moments. I think I want you to talk about this more because there's some key moments. Like if you're a Tekken fan, this is like a love letter. And I think like following the history, it seems like 6 really turned people off because Jin kind of became a bad guy.
Like a war criminal.
Yeah.
Like he started World War III and started like murdering millions of people.
That's a bad guy. And then I think this is like the love letter for Jin is kind of how I interpreted it. You're talking about the music and stuff. So I'll let you talk about that. From just a noob casual perspective, new to the series, I thought there was just a lot of cool moments, and I still felt the weight and importance of the fights, even though I haven't been growing up with these characters. So I think they did a great job of like having you feel that with the way they told the story and the presentation.
So I think overall the story is fine. To be fair, I think that might actually be my least favorite part of the game. Not to say it's bad,
Mm-hmm.
but when it came to a wow factor, that first fight where it's like it's very cinematic and it's going in and out and it's doing all that stuff was awesome. And I was like, oh, this is like, dude, you got to play the demo. This fight's great. Like seeing how it all comes together.
Yeah.
It was a really great first impression.
Yep.
And then I thought it was kind of just like they were doing some cool things. Like you had to like you mentioned they did a bracket and everything. So you picked the fighter that you wanted to win and all of that, which was cool.
Did you pick Kuma or?
Did
you pick?
I think I picked Paul.
Paul.
I think I picked Paul.
I picked Kuma. He had, he had to win again.
I can't remember. I think I picked Paul because I have a soft spot for Paul. I'm like, dude, just win, just finally win.
Yeah.
But you go through and you do all that. There's a little Tekken Force throwback, which I actually didn't think controlled really well. Like it was almost like it was cumbersome and kind of annoying. The Tekken Force wasn't like that. It was more side scrolling and it felt a lot better.
Interesting.
Like a lot better.
That was like a Dynasty Warriors-esque.
But in
weird,
very clumsy and bad. Yeah. So that wasn't great.
No.
But the very beginning was really good. The very end was really, really good. Everything in the middle you could take or leave. There were some things where they were shoehorning things in where like when Law and Paul just fought each other for no reason. Like they were just like, we're gonna fight now.
Yeah, Law comes onto the bench like a battlefield,
and it's just like you guys are best friends. Like, what do you do? Like it now, to be fair,
split the money.
That might have evolved from 5 to now or whatever.
Sure.
But that wasn't like the Law and Paul from like 3.
Yeah.
Or it was just over exaggerated and stuff. And a lot of those things just didn't feel like my quote unquote Tekken characters. Yeah, Jin, June, Kazuya, all the main characters, so to speak. But everyone else was just like filler. And I get it. It's always about the Mishimas, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I was so excited for it to be like finally like, can we just finish that and like maybe like come up with a new story or a new, whatever.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah, and I was saying multiple times like when we were playing, I'm like, dude, they're going to do a tag 3 before 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they're just going to get everybody and do here's your ultimate tag tournament. Here's every character we ever did. But anyway, we have all that, and I was talking to you about the end where Jin is fighting Kazuya because that's like the whole point of the game, and you're fighting him what seemed like forever. I would say out of everything, that overstayed its welcome the most. I understand it was like multiple levels, but like, dude, you were fighting him for rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds. But as Jin's kind of coming to terms with the sins that he did, his ultimate, here's a little bit of a spoiler, so maybe like mute if you don't want to hear that. But it's like his ultimate thing was just like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm a bad guy, but like, okay. I'll live with it. I'll live with the devil and the angel part of it.
Yeah, I would say he accepts the fact that he can't go back in time and do anything about it, right? So I get that. But yeah, does that turn you into an angel? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still kind of did some bad stuff.
Yeah. But I did.
I agree, though.
I did love, and this is the thing that you were kind of alluding to. At the end, Jin does his little kind of like fixes his glove and puts it on, which is the opener for Tekken 3, that's my Tekken. I freaking love that. That was when Jin was first introduced. And instantly, I recognize his original Tekken 3 fight music. He goes into his original Tekken 3 fighting stance. And it was like, dude, hairs were on, and like big smile on my face. Like everything up to that of like, I don't know if this is like a great story. It's like, it's fine, it's whatever, but I was like ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
That right there was like, dude, I'm back in. That was sick.
That was the wow factor.
And him doing that and then switching to June's stuff and like basically you see where he came from and what he is and all that stuff. I thought that was really, really, really well done. Like I thought it was a long time getting there.
Yeah.
But
payoff
that
was
was
great.
A good payoff. Yeah. And like the graphics are freaking awesome. So it's like, we'll get there. But
yeah,
that whole moment was really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of touched on interest as well. I mean, you're super invested.
Yeah. The problem is with the characters and the story and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was less interested in this game than just about every other Tekken. And that might change throughout. Like I might dive in a little bit more to different things and stuff, but I feel removed from a lot of that, where my interest in this isn't the like the story and characters so much. It's like the interest is like learning combos and learning,
Yeah.
like actually getting into the competitive part of it.
Yeah.
Which is still fine.
I think I agree with you. I think the story's solid. Like I said, it's small. It's not long.
It's just
it
very
doesn't waste your
predictable.
time.
That's all. It's like, you know, like I was hoping for
it goes right down the middle, but
yeah.
it's probably the weakest part of the game. I do agree with that assessment. Like every other, like even the arcade mode, I think is actually done better.
I mean,
shocking.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I guess that's a good point. Like that, technically that's even a story, and that's more compelling.
It's kind of more compelling. Yeah. And helpful and
Yeah.
all that. But
did you do any of the character stories? So like
I've just done Nina so far.
Okay.
Where she throws, what's his face?
Yeah.
So funny.
The character stories, that's the other thing, is I don't think the ending movies are the caliber of them as a whole.
Yeah.
I think are on the weaker side. Like they're getting really, really they're either like extremely goofy or extremely serious, but it's such a small, serious thing where it's like, okay, well, like, what's the outcome of it? Like, you know,
right,
they don't
right.
give you enough of a story.
Is Kazuya's one the one where what's his ending story?
I went through all 32 at like 3 a.m. So
I saw something where he's showing off his shoe collection.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
that was
asking
hilarious.
him. He's doing an interview.
Okay.
And then he basically like, it's like, I don't like weak women or whatever, and like throws a knife at like June or something, and she just catches it, and he's like, that's why she ain't weak, or you know, whatever. And then it opens up the shoe collection.
Kazuya? Isn't June dead?
Yeah, that's the whole. I mean, yeah, spoilers. I think she's just back. That was the whole thing. Is like they about midway through the story, it's very subtle, but when you look at it, when she was just like, oh, she died. She was presumed dead. She went missing. She was, you know, it's like, it was very, very weird.
That's hilarious.
So but that's part
I
of the
actually
story.
like June. I really like her character design. I'm actually more interested in, this is a little bit of side tangent, so I apologize, but I was watching a video on the easiest to hardest like characters, like a tier list thing.
Yeah.
That's when I was like telling you like Nina's like super hard.
So apparently so is Brian Fury. I was looking that up, and he's like super
he's
hard.
like a hardest.
Yeah.
Brian Fury, Kazuya, forget who else. Who's the guy with the white hair?
Leroy?
The butler.
Or the butler?
He's not a butler, but he's
Lee?
like Lee, is that his name?
Yeah. Lee Shaolan.
Yeah. He's apparently very, very hard.
Yeah.
But June this is a tangent, is one of the easier ones, so I might try her out because I think she's cool. But yeah.
I guess my thing is the cinematics in 7 and seeing Heihachi like this really gruff, hard exterior, and he's still a bad guy, but like when his wife is thrown in his face or whatever, like there are these subtle things of like his expression, maybe a tear on his cheek, whatever. It just felt more emotionally relevant, where like for Kazuya and Jin even, like, dude, if you see your mother or your wife that you thought, well, not wife, but like lover or whatever you want to call it, long thought for like the past 18 years you thought she was dead, and then suddenly she's like, hello, like you would want some deeper connection there, and I think they missed the mark on some of that stuff.
Yeah. No, overall I think the story's fine. I think it's good. I enjoyed it. It's not.
Is it worth going through? Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, no. Is it going to change the gaming industry forever? No.
Yeah.
But it progresses the Tekken story forward, and I think there's a lot of cool moments in particular that stand out to me. And I enjoyed my time with it. Yeah. Yep. Cool. Sound design. Immersion. So sound design is interesting in fighting games, like especially Tekken has always been known for like the weighty, impactful hits.
Yep.
People slam against walls and electrics and whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's done really well here. Maybe this is more sound effects, but I mean, it does carry into immersion the fact of like you feel those punches when you're landing a combo on me. It's like I feel that, you know.
Yeah.
When I'm twisting you up and breaking your limbs and stuff, it's like there's one move Nina has where she just steps on your balls.
It's
like, oh my God, like I literally just
grind. Yeah.
quivered. And so it's like, I think it's little things like that. I think the sound design is really well done in that aspect where you really feel impactful when you're doing something, when you're making an input, when you connect.
Every time you slam into a wall, every time like the ground breaks, or every time you're blowing through glass, and it's just like you're flying to the next stage. Like,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the ultimate moves are really cool too. I think they do a lot of great effects, like visually, obviously really good. But I think there's something to be said about the sound design in all of those things as well to differentiate itself from normal moves, and you can feel the more, it feels more powerful. Sounds more powerful, I should say. But that's kind of my biggest thing. Impactful is the word that comes to mind when I think of this sound design. It's just, and you need that in a fighting game, especially Tekken, right? Like it's always been like super, like, I don't know. I'm saying weighty. I'm probably not describing it right. Again, I'm like not involved in the fighting game sphere, but that's kind of like I've always like, you're juggling people forever, you're slamming them against walls. It feels a little bit more,
it's exaggerated, it's
aggressive.
It's there is a flair, there's a style to it, right? Like if you block, there is a very specific sound cue when you block. So like as you're doing these moves, you don't even necessarily, like, obviously you want to be looking at the screen, but like if I punch you and you block that and you hear like the little or whatever sound effect they have, your brain's already registering like, okay, like that sound comes technically before you see the full visual thing of it, right? Like, so you can play by sound too, which is kind of cool.
Every time you use an alt, there's that little cling in the beginning where it's like, oh, you just like, you notice that first before actually the visual aspect of it.
So then you're automatically trying to block.
You're like, oh shit, did my punch go through? Absolutely.
We didn't really touch on voice, like the voice acting's fine. I think there's nothing super excellent on a lot of stuff. I think they have very few voice lines on fights, so I think that's one of the things. Like it'd probably be more of a criticism, but like especially if you're maining somebody, hearing them say the same thing over and over and over and over.
I wish really there was more personal dialogue, because I mean we've had 8 games, and so every character should have some unique dialogue for every other character, more or less, right? Or at least some of them. And I think you get like 1 or 2 characters. Like I know that for Nina, when I see Lee, he's like trying to give me a rose or something, and I kick him in the face. You know what I mean? Like, so.
And Paul and Law have some stuff.
Things, so there's some of that. I wish there was more. I like that when you have those unique interactions and you like see that history there.
Mortal Kombat does that very well.
Yes. So something like Mortal Kombat, and that's what I was like knocked on Street Fighter as well, where it's like, man, there's so much history. Like these games are on their 10th, 11th, 12th iterations.
You want them
There's so much history.
Exactly.
You use it, make a reference, do this. And I don't know. I mean,
I wonder if they're shining the spotlight on. So like, what's her name? Zena or
with the arm, the
demon
arm.
No, that's Zafina.
Is the coffee.
The coffee drink.
Yeah.
But she's constantly asking, "Hey, what's your favorite coffee?" Every character has a different coffee, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So like King's like, oh, I love coffee. It's like nothing's better than whatever. So it's like, and then you have some people who are like, I like tea and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just something little like that is interesting enough where it's like you're getting a little bit of extra information.
Yes.
Every time you fight, which is kind of cool.
And that's kind of the beauty of fighting games, right? Because like again, traditionally not heavy story. But there's a ton of lore because you do get those little. Oh, did you know that King's an orphan or something? Because he said he had this one line in Tekken 5.
Like Yoshimitsu was really big on green tea. He's like, green tea superior. Now let me stab you with my sword.
Exactly. Or like Kazuya is really into shoes, right? Like it's cool stuff like that. So what I will say on the voice work though, while they don't have a lot of lines, first off, I love the fact that they speak their own native language. I think that's so cool. That's funny that everyone understands this, but I think it's so cool, like to embrace that, and the nationalities are super important because, like, you have something similar, like in Street Fighter, where they're all over the globe, but they're all speaking English, and I think this is much more stylized, where you have those different languages. I think it's so cool,
and that's been, I mean, Tekken 3 had that.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think there were any voices in 1 and 2, short of like the grunts and whatever.
Yeah.
But Tekken 3, they were talking, and it was all Japanese. And
and then secondly, I do want to give credit, like the grunt work. That's an aspect to the voice acting, and that's like super important for a fighting game, to really feel. It goes along with feeling the power of those moves, and they're working extremely hard. And I think they do a good job with it. I think stuff like that's like totally discredited, because like you're just so ingrained and like, but every like they have to record hundreds of grunt noises probably, and like punching and kicking and getting hit and stuff, which is I want to just point that out, respect that, and it's good. But we have the music as well. So I don't know. So I was looking at the jukebox stuff. It's super cool that you can pick any Tekken.
Yeah. I put it on 3 and never looked back. So like my Tekken game, like the character select, everything is just Tekken 3. Oh, that's so good.
So funny. So I like that. I think the music's generally good. It's cool. I don't have that nostalgia piece to me. So some of it's like the Tekken 3 theme's like cool, but it's so dated.
Yep.
But like if you're a Tekken fan, man, Tekken 8 is like one of your favorites. I mean, this really is just doing everything.
I wish they had all the videos.
Yeah, that's
like they had it in 7,
weird.
And it's weird that they didn't include. They have so much content. In
it's
like weird that they just don't just port the gallery. I'm sure video games are easy, but port the gallery from 7, put it in 8.
Yep,
that'd be my one criticism with that. But
that's not music. But
sorry.
I agree.
Yeah,
no, I mean that's a fair point. And we were talking about like it's the old. It's not like upscaled.
I don't think there's music that's good. Like I shouldn't say good. Like it's fine. It does its job.
I think it's fine. Yeah,
but it's not like a Final Fantasy VII battle theme.
Yeah,
every time
no, it's not gonna make any lists.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it's
that.
pure nostalgia.
So it's all nostalgia for you. I didn't get that. I think some of the themes are all right. They're good, but that's not really the mainstay.
You have what 10 games you can pick for? I don't know if
I have it on cycle.
Oh, okay, so you just get little hits of everything.
Little hits of everything. Yeah, so which is cool. I love how they did that. So
they have themes. Like there are like Tekken 3. All the music sounds similar, which is kind of cool and stuff. And then 4 and
I wish in fighting, I'm very big on character themes, and like Final Fantasy does this great, where you hear a theme and you're like, that's Tifa, because it's just so unique, and I think the Japanese composers in particular are very good at this. And so I wish they had that for fighting games. That would be cool. That would just be another layer of personality and depth that you would get to a character. And it's such a great opportunity because we talked about how great the characters are and how interesting and colorful and expressive they are. And I think you can capture that in music. So I would love, it wouldn't even have to be long, like just a quick theme where like when King walks up, you hear his theme. Like that just gives you, like that puts it over the top for me.
Yeah.
And like you hear like a... You can do some cool things with that. Like if you're in the story mode, someone's theme starts playing. You're like, oh shit. Like imagine if Heihachi had like a specific theme, and he's like presumed dead, and then you just hear his theme, and the camera turns, and he's that would be so hype. So I think that's just a critique. I don't know if other fighting games do that. Again, I'm not super educated on it, but I think that's such a miss because fighting game characters are always great, and they're so notable. And I wish they had that paired with something audio
like you
based.
said, it brings it up to like just the next level. Like that extra like 10%.
Like when I hear Aerith's theme, that's what gives you the waterworks, right?
It's
not necessarily,
even if you could like pick that in the customization.
Yeah.
You know? Like
cool. When you pick your character, I don't know, it's something small like that. And like I said, it could be like a bite size, quick hit, just to capture the essence of who they are. Easier said than done, of course. I mean, writing music's not easy, and writing like a character theme super not easy.
So you have 32 characters,
32
all the levels.
It's tough, but that would be special if they did something like that. But I digress. Okay, we had our last presentation.
All right,
polish. I think this game is incredibly polished.
Yes,
looks great, runs great. I was having some trouble with my screen, but that might be a monitor issue, so I'm not going to dock it points against that, but it was weird. But yeah, every aspect of the game is very calculated. And it just performs so well, which is you have to for a fighting game, right?
Yep.
Like you got to be at 60
graphically, like everything. Yeah, it's mine's set at 59, so I don't know if they're doing some weird.
Mine might be too. It might
it.
flick
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
But all the modes are so well thought out, and we talked about the training and all that, and I think that goes into the polish. That there's just a lot of thought put into how can we create the best Tekken experience, whether you're a returning player like Tyler mentioned or a new player like me. It's engaging. You notice the little details that they put in, and I appreciate those types of things
for sure
immensely.
Yeah.
Anything else on polish?
No,
now?
I think you hit the nail on the
head. All right,
head.
user interface and experience. Oh, this is your go-to.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I think they do a lot of things right. So I think the main menu is pretty good. I love the idea that you can literally pick your menu. Like you can customize it.
Yeah.
So all the modes, because they have so many modes, any mode that you want, you can favorite, and then you have your favorites list, and you can just kind of jump from thing to thing. So that's huge. From an experience standpoint, I think going into like the Tekken Lounge is kind of awesome.
Yes.
That being said, I think that there are some like quality of life things they need to improve upon, because you can't just you and your buddies go to a lounge and just play yourselves. Like it gets a little wonky with that.
Yeah.
Same with like spectating, same with doing like rematches.
Yeah.
If you want to change your character while you're in the Tekken Lounge, you actually have to back out of the fight and redo that whole thing again. And it's just really cumbersome with that.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's funny how something like that, which is like a gimmick, right? Like you have your little avatar and you're running around like an actual like arcade, and you have to sit in the machine and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was actually fun. Like
Yeah.
it was really cool. It was a really cool experience.
Yep.
If I had the choice between that and just menus, I would rather go to the arcade and like emote and watch people and like spectate and do different things and just kind of like live in that little Tekken arcade.
Yeah.
But they make it so cumbersome that it's not really fun.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Now I'm sure like hopefully they'll patch some stuff in and try to figure stuff out. But between that and something simple where I love watching the cursors go around the screen and me picking my character at the same point you picking your character.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And they don't do that on any mode, where it's like you just pick your character, do your thing, and then you'll get a surprise on who you're fighting.
It have to be split screen though.
What's that?
If you're doing split screen, they have split screen.
Oh yeah, split screen.
So you have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other mode.
Yeah, it seems like an oversight. So
Right.
that's a thing, and we played it, and we finally got. I mean, it took us an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure it out. We finally got it where we had to do it through the menus, and it worked really well, and we could spectate and everything, and we watch it. And like even with spectating, you saw all the moves, you saw all the inputs. You get as much or as little information as you want while you're watching the fights. Winner stays, and the next person goes in and stuff. And like that was all pretty seamless. It's just getting to that point was cumbersome. So it's like to me, that's like you got a lot of work to do there. I don't know if they have a history of changing that stuff up or not. I hope so, but I think I was shocked at how much I liked the Tekken Lounge like let's call it interface, I don't know, overworld, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Where that's how I want to interact with that game. And that's wild to me that they did it so right and wrong at the same time.
It's so close.
Yeah.
It's so close.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like that has some better features than the like menu one.
Yeah.
And then the menu one's like better for other things. It's like just combine the two.
It's very dependent on what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. If they, I guess this kind of hits polish too, right? Like there's just those little things that they missed there. If that was just tightened up a little bit, where you could go in, like we had 4 guys, right? It was Tyler, me, and Justin and Zach. And if we could just go to our own little section, and the same thing as in the menus, but you get that kind of presentation of like, oh, now Zach's on the sticks and the 2 spectators, and I don't know. That would have been like just that perfect touch.
And like I'm fine with having randoms come in, but I would like it if everyone sat at the arcades and like if there's a group of 8 or a group of 4 or 5 or whatever, if a stranger comes in, that's the equivalent of like back in the day where they would put like a quarter on the machine saying like I got next, right?
Yeah.
So you like fight and then he comes in and does it.
Right.
That's really cool, and they could really lean into that.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a great way of like meeting other people online and getting new rivalries and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I want to see it where like whenever you're matchmaking in that thing, it just pops up and says America 1-003. Do you want to connect? And you hit yes, and you don't know who you're fighting until you get past that.
Right.
I would love it to be like you sit down at the arcade and it just brings up the lobby or whatever, and you have 8 slots. It's like an automated way of creating your session. I think would be really cool.
Yeah, through that. But I agree. I like the hub world, and it's like this cool little town. I like all the details.
Yeah.
It's like they have like restaurants in the background. It's like small touches like that. I'm like, wow.
There's like an
I wanna,
underground thing too that I don't even think we went to.
I don't know, but did you see the beach though? There's a beach
I never
where
went
you
to the
can
beach,
play.
no.
There's little machines out there that have extension cords where you can play Tekken ball.
That's the one mode I haven't played yet.
Me neither.
We should play that.
We should play that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we talked about the graphics and style. I mean, the game's very stylized.
Is it Unreal 5? I think it's Unreal 5.
I think it's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Unreal 5, but it
looks really good.
Beautiful game. It runs pretty flawlessly for me
Yeah.
at least. I'm locked at 60, 59 or whatever.
Yep.
And
just online, like, is very spotty.
yeah,
depending on what
online
you have.
spotty. So
that might be
a
a me thing. I might have to tighten up my
areas.
areas.
It's like I was telling you before. Like one of the really important things about Street Fighter that it was lauded for is the rollback netcode, where the online was very well done in terms of like connection. I think Tekken's not as good. I think from what and this is just from what I've heard from the community. I've been like watching a lot of videos, reviews, and stuff. The consensus seems to be that it's better than previously. Like I think 7 and 6 like had a lot of problems.
Yeah, they're like 170 whatever the netcode.
Tekken's a little
value
infamous
is.
for like not being great online. But I think this is the best iteration of Tekken, but still not at that level of their competitors. So, but I haven't tried online yet. I need to try that out.
Once you start like dipping your toes in, and like you have to get a few under your belt just to
you got to
get
humbled.
placed. And
you
stuff.
got to get humbled probably. But no, I think we ran through everything, man.
Yeah, sorry, I know that was a long-winded.
A lot to talk about, but I mean, this is
Eddie Gordo's coming in first character DLC. I don't know when that's coming out, but I already have.
I hope they bring Tifa into the game. She'd be perfect. That would be so sick. I'd have to switch to a Tifa main.
Any older character they bring in, I'm happy with. Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me about him. He's like the dancing guy.
He is great.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He sounds cool. Okay, scores.
Yeah.
Scores. So just as a reminder, I think Tyler added our game rating to the Notion board. So if you go on couchcompany.games, there's a link to all of our game ratings. And we have our kind of criteria there as well, or like our scoring table.
Yep.
Yeah. So, although, am I able to view this or
for what?
The scoring categories, like the gold, silver, and stuff?
It should be on the top.
Okay.
I added the top. I don't
Sorry,
know if you
go
can
ahead.
tap that
So-
separate. But what's your?
It like cuts off though.
So if you tap on it, it doesn't bring it up. Okay, we'll fix that.
All right. We're finding things. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
I want you to go first. I went first last week.
Okay, so let me pull up the scoring guide because I want to make sure like the categories are important. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's 0 to 100, but there's different categories. So like gold is a certain range. I think it's like 86 to like 95.
95. It's always a 6. Yeah, so it'd be 86 to 95,
okay,
and then
perfect. So
96 to.
I give this game. I think it's an incredible game. Like I said, I haven't played a fighting game since like the Dragon Ball Z games back when I was a kid. But like if we're talking traditional fighting games, Soul Calibur 2. It's a long time ago.
Sure.
This was very daunting. I was like afraid like I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna just be terrible. Tyler's gonna destroy me, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna like it. Then he's gonna be sad. Start throwing games maybe. But I was shocked at how welcoming it was. That's kind of the adjective I used to describe it. It's like super welcoming. It's you get that instant dopamine from the success that you get. You see yourself getting better. There's all these tools to use. Story mode's competent. You got your individual characters. So like you start maining a new person, you can do their little arcade story, get a little more personality from them. It's just like all these different features. It's so feature rich, and it runs great, and it plays great, and it looks great. So with all those aspects put together, I think this is like right up there with some of these other fighting games that just came out, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So I gave it a 92.
Wow.
A 92.
Okay.
It's like you were talking about earlier, like you're just thinking about Tekken. I was like at work watching Tekken videos all day. Like, oh, here's a movement guide. Oh, here's a Nina guide and beginner guide. And like all these guides. And I haven't been that excited for like a competitive game. And I compare it to like my League of Legends days. Like it's just like 1-to-1 comparison where it's like that similar feeling that I got early on there. So 92.
So I had it in 89.
Oh, okay.
But that was from a perspective, because this is before we played.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I would put it about like a 90, 91. Like 92 is awesome. Like I can't believe you're scoring it higher than me.
Yeah, I mean it's not perfect. There's like we mentioned things that bump it down, but I think the experience is why I just and the surprise factor.
I think ultimately, and this is dumb because it's a fighting game, and you probably shouldn't think that stories are amazing in fighting games and whatnot. Like I think I was looking for more within it. So like I think the roster, everyone like it's a good roster. It's just like I wanted more classic characters.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see more interaction with those and stuff, and we really didn't get that. The story was very predictable overall, and the cumbersome, like just we were talking about, like the cumbersome stuff,
the little stuff.
That's what kind of pushed it down for me.
Yep.
But playing with you guys, especially you, like it's to hop on and be like, okay, like we have our mains, we're fighting, and there you got that rivalry going. Adding Justin, adding Zach, like that bumped it, right? So like so. I'll say officially I'll give it a 90. Like I'll bump it up a point because it's like if we're just doing like out of a 10-point scale, it's a 9 out of 10. Like I think it's a very, very good game.
That makes sense.
But as far as like an official couch score, I'm more than happy to give it a 92.
Oh, I mean we usually split the difference, so 91 would be in the middle.
We were gray in that. You think a 91 is the
I'm happy going with me, but
yeah,
if we're being fair, it should be 91.
92. Because if I add in all the X factors of like, you know, like playing with friends and just the graphics and everything, like I don't want to seem like I'm down on it by any stretch. Like it's a very, very, very good game.
Yeah.
I think just for me, I was looking like if they announced like a Tekken 3 remake, I would be like infinitely more excited. But that's my nostalgia.
Right.
So I'm trying to put that in check a little bit.
No,
but you're right. With feature rich and just what it is, 92.
I gotta imagine that you're so happy. Like you're a Jin guy.
I'm not a Jin guy.
Oh, you're not a Jin guy.
No, I was a Jin guy in Tekken 3.
Yeah.
And then after Tekken 3, like he story based.
Yeah.
He unlearned the Mishima karate and just did traditional karate. So like he immediately played completely different in 4. And I did not like that. And then they just kind of like ruined his character. And he was going from like, I'm going to save the world to I just murdered millions of people to like somehow he's redeemed and different things.
I thought
like
you
that.
might like that aspect of it where it's like he's embracing his old styles.
Yeah.
He's coming to grips with like, you know,
the ending was awesome.
Back to being the good guy again.
But he didn't embrace his old style. He has his karate style that he's had since 4.
Yeah.
He just had his Mishima style for that one fight at the end of that. Yeah. And that was really cool. That
they had his Tekken
me.
3 moveset, I think.
Yeah.
So you were probably giddy.
Well, yeah, because even Kazuya's like, I thought you unlearned that, or I thought you threw that away, or whatever. He's like, no, I'm
part of me.
Back. Yeah,
I'm back. That's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't. Shouldn't say I hate Jin, but I haven't really been a Jin fan since
Jin
3.
guy.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Cool. 92. That's our highest score this year. By 12 points.
Yeah.
So I think it's a solid game. I was just really happy.
I bought a fight stick for this game.
Yeah.
Like,
You
it's
did.
crazy.
I got to check it out after this. But
It's at the house. Sorry.
Someday.
Friday. See you next week.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. But yeah, 92, great game, solid experience. And I'll admit, like, I think I played it the best way you can play it when you have friends to play it with that and that's the best, like Tyler was alluding to or talking about, I should say. It was like you start learning each other's styles, and it's just a great time. So
I want to beat a dead horse, but it is like we have our fights and we're playing and we're doing that stuff. You know, you bring in Justin and Zach for kind of like little like wild card things and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like we will never hit the ceiling.
no,
Like there's a million other games to play. I get that, and like this is a nice like a balloons thing. Like, hey, you just want to play Tekken?
Yeah.
Like, you just want to
no,
whatever.
it's in the arsenal, I think, which is great.
And it's like leveling up a new character, learning a new character, doing the combos, doing the arcade, and then like, okay, I'll go online and get my ass beat. But like, there's always a progression, and there's just 32 of them times 3 or whatever.
So much time just customizing every character.
Yeah.
Like, I was just sitting in the customization for like an hour, and it's like, there's so many great aspects of the game.
Dude, you have 31 million Tekken bucks or whatever
Yeah,
it
they
is
give you
sitting
so many.
there
It's
because
so awesome.
the stories. Like if you only did Nina for the character stories, I think you get 1 million per character that you beat it with. That's 5 fights. So every 5 fights you get a million credits.
You probably have way more money than me, but no, 92. Great.
All right, yep.
Happy with that gold tier. Great game. This was a longer one, but Tekken was important.
I feel like our
Especially to Tyler.
reviews are just going to be long, but that's good.
Yeah, but we have the timestamps. I got to remember to say this in the beginning. So
Yeah.
I will make a note for myself next time because I should say it up front. But timestamps. And if you made it this far, you're the best. So check us out. Mentioned it before, couchcompany.games. You want to see all of our ratings. Also have our top 5 lists. Might throw in a top 5 here soon. Tyler actually has a fun idea for one, so I'm excited for that one. So stay tuned for that. And we're going to be here, same time, different place
Yes.
next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Peace.